Olympic Hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Yo, listen, this is the best Wrestler Alive Platinum match, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling podcast.
Hello everyone, this is Nunzio, former WWE Cruiserweight Champion, and you're watching We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling podcast. Check them out, man. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie might teach you a thing or two.
Wrestling. And if you don't listen to it, then it's one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Featuring your host, Best One Dog, Danny Huckins, Rage Circus, and Dan Eddy. We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the Best One Donnie here with...
Me now?
I guess so.
I'm no longer on the bottom.
It's so weird. It's so weird because usually Ben is always the second one, but he's not here.
Yeah, he's just like, boom. Well, hey, what's going on? Dan Eddy here. I am no longer the third person, but I am back and the podcast, and also the other Danny is back. What's going on, Mr. Huckins?
I am back, man. Back and certified, ready to rock and roll. It's been a minute, and you know what? It's almost like going to college and then coming home. Like everything seems familiar, but yet different at the same time. And last time I was here, Dan Eddy wasn't here, so it's like it's mind blowing, man. I appreciate being welcome back in the fold, and let's rock and roll, man.
Let's rock and roll. We got a stacked episode this week. What a crazy lineup we have, and we'll go over that in just a moment. But before we do that, Rage is here in the live chat. What is going on? We Are Wrestling Maniacs worldwide. It is 1/4 of the We Are Wrestling. Rage Circus, Uncle Ben, the Diddler. Welcome back, Danny fucking Huckins. Welcome back is right. And we got a great lineup.
I appreciate you, my Asian amigo.
If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever, leave us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and all 175 episodes previous from this one, and give us a follow over on the social medias and even the podcast. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac, you're already over on the YouTube channel where you can catch these episodes live every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get the best pro wrestling content on the internet. We give you guys reactions, live watch-alongs for all the WWE PLEs and AEW pay-per-views, and vlogs, everything pro wrestling, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers. We recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications. Videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know the grind is real. Just want to point out, too, I just want to point out, too, Rage, I'm wearing your shirt today that you can get on bonfire.com in the Rage store.
Go.
Let's go.
All Rage. Stop.
Hey, yo, Tyrus has a good idea. We could call it the Wrestling 3D podcast when Rage is not here. The 3Ds.
The 3Ds, man.
Well, and it is the 3Ds. I like that, actually, from Tyrus.
3Ds.
But if you've been hiding, but real quick, if you've been hiding under a rock, we're doing something new here on the We Are Wrestling podcast now that Danny Huckins is back and Dan Eddy is officially a part of the team. Pretty much every week here on the show, we're going to continue to have it a 3-man rotation. And somebody's going to be on the bench every week. And this week, Rage Circus is on the bench. Next week, I'll be on the bench. But we're going to do a whole rotation here. And honestly, I'm really excited that we're doing this because one of our problems throughout the years with the podcast and being content creators was burnout. which is why we did an off season earlier this year. We've taken breaks periodically, and I think having this machine continue while giving us that break to focus on other content, focus on real life, family, I think it's really going to help this podcast continue to grow and stay consistent, which I think is very important in growing this podcast.
Bro, it's kind of weird in a way. Like, man, like we started this podcast several years ago, and just like an idea. Like, you know, you were looking for somebody to, like, you know, join you for one episode, and then that ended up being 2 episodes, 3 episodes, 4 episodes. I ended up bringing Rage on, and now we're almost 200 episodes into this crazy ass journey, man. Shit is wild. Like, it's wild the way life turns out sometimes.
Damn, I just went through sort of a history lesson. I thought it was Rage, like one of the originals.
No, Donnie started this as the We Are Wrestling talk show.
Yeah.
It did start off as the We Are Wrestling talk show. So pretty much I started this with a couple relevant people that aren't even worth mentioning here. And it just didn't work out. So I was starting to do this thing where I wanted to find a new co-host. And Danny Huckins was free. He hit me up. He saw my Facebook post looking for somebody. And me and him did a couple episodes together. And then episode 3, Ben wanted to be a part of it. And then after that, we never
pick me.
We never looked back, and it just all just worked out for the best, because throughout the years, like, we would make videos, because before We Are Wrestling, before my Best One Donnie Toy channel, before Danny Huckins would do his live watch alongs, we had our own YouTube channels doing our own thing with short films and other things like that. We always tried to collaborate. It just never worked because we had different styles of what we were doing. Mine was a little bit more improv. Danny's and Ben, it was more like they were trying to, like, get out there like Hollywood. I was trying to get out there on YouTube. So it never really worked out. And then it just was really cool that, like, pro wrestling kind of brought all 3 of us. Like, we went from being friends to, like, brothers just because of this sport, which is crazy.
Me and Donnie have known each other since probably like 2004, 2005. And we used to live across the street from each other, because I used to live in my aunt's house. And we would hang out once in a while, and then one day we just stopped hanging out. We just didn't talk for fucking years. And then I started hanging out with Ben, and I found out Donnie was had cameras and was into filmmaking too a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, like, we asked him to collaborate or whatever, and then, we stopped talking again, and then, the whole pro wrestling thing happened. And it was around the time I started to make pro wrestling content myself. So I was like, oh, this would be cool to, have somebody to talk about it with. So, and that's how
Danny, I never knew you saw Ben's penis.
Not to my knowledge, man. It's microscopic. I couldn't even see it. I probably saw it and didn't even realize it because it was just non-existent.
I figured you guys just hired Rage for the diversity factor, but yeah, that's cool.
But Rage is in the chat, and he said, I was just the guy that happened to stay for the ride 4 years later. Absolutely.
Now everybody on the stream, including Dan Eddy, knows how the podcast, came to be.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Absolutely.
I really did not know that. It's awesome.
Nice little history lesson, because we are at episode 175, which is 15 episodes away from 200. We can't share what we have planned, but it's something big, and we will be talking about it probably within the next month or so.
25, buddy.
25. So I'm sorry, I'm not the analytic guy with the numbers.
I met Ben at a mall in the food court.
That's first grade math, bro.
I wasn't the best at math.
I met Ben at the mall in the food court, the mall that no longer exists. And then, I want to say about a year later, he moved into my aunt's house, and we've been friends ever since.
Angelo,
I was about to say, episode 200 is crazy work. Ben knows what's happening.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, with that being said,
200 episodes of anything, bro, is wild. You have to really, we all have to, pat ourselves on the back, because, a lot of people don't get that.
Like Barry Horowitz.
I used to have a football podcast, and I got burned out by it, after 5. So, yeah, it's 200 is crazy to think about.
After 5, look at you, Dan Eddy. You've been here all summer long, and you're here in the fall. Let's freaking go.
I've done more of these podcasts
He broke
than my
his own
other
record.
podcasts.
He has broke his own record.
I was also by myself too, but maybe that's why I was burnt out so easily.
All right, so let's get into the lineup real quick before we do get into our power of the poll, because this week we have a very stacked episode. We're going to be giving our full review on AEW All Out. Also, we're going to be giving our review on WWE WrestlePalooza. Was it as bad as people are saying? We'll find out pretty soon. We got some TV recaps. We're going to talk about Asuka's heel turn and the NXT TNA invasion angle. And then for our weekly news and rumors, Gunter is possibly going to be coming back pretty soon. What should they do with him? We got an update on WWE AEW counter programming. TNA has announced a couple Hall of Famers that will be inducted into the 2025 Hall of Fame. Brock Lesnar's possible WrestleMania 42 opponent. And for our getting put over this week, we're going to be putting over Chavo Guerrero. Ooh, Chavo! And then our main event topic, we're going to be talking about the Pro Wrestling Illustrated top 10 that were revealed, and we're going to give our thoughts if we think Cody Rhodes deserves to be number 1. So we got a very stacked episode lined up. So I hope you got your popcorn like Rage, and I hope you are ready to enjoy the show because...
And his largest micro peen.
Oh, it's going to get hard, and he doesn't need Blue Chew for that. All right, well, let's get into the power of the poll, which every week over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel in our community tab, we give you guys 1 week to vote on a wrestling topic, and we discuss it, whether or not we agree with the Maniacs, because we let you decide what you think is the right answer. And I figured, because last week we got a new character for Bayley, kind of showing multiple personalities, kind of got me excited. I think I got other people excited in the community. So I figured let's go back in time and ask you guys, what character of Bayley's is the best? And here are the results. There it is. Bayley's best character.
Wow.
29% picked Hugger Bayley, while 9% picked Damage Control, 13% picked her WWE Championship run, and 50% picked the Role Model, who was the longest rating WWE Women's Champion. Do we agree with this being her best character?
I don't know. I picked the World Champion. That's like, what would you say, 13%? Yeah, those margins are way off.
WWE Championship was 13%.
The Damage Control, I kind of agree with. Only 9%. That seems reasonable. 29% of the Hugger. I feel like 28% of that was you, Donnie. And
give me a break.
Of the Role Model.
Are you kidding me? John, look at that. Angelo even said, too, he loved the Hugger.
I didn't even see that in chat. I didn't even see that part. But I have to disagree with not only the winner, but also the margins, because it just seems too wide between the multiple choice. I think the World Champion, Bayley, we've seen some of her best work. Not really. I don't know.
How do you feel about this, Danny? Do you agree?
I agree to an extent, but I also feel like Role Model Bayley, Damage Control Bayley, and Champion Bayley, like they're essentially the same character. Like, I feel like the most character depth she had was going from Hugger Bayley to Role Model Bayley, and then it just sort of like it's always been some kind of variant of the same character. She doesn't have that much depth. You know what I mean? The only difference is she's a good guy or a bad guy, but she's essentially like same hairstyle, same outfits, same everything except attitude. So I don't know, man. I like Hugger Bayley because that was like, black and gold era, and I'm a huge fan of NXT Black and Gold. So I got to go with Hugger Bayley.
Danny, I could give you a hug for saying that.
Yeah,
Josh Toy Show even said once Bayley transitioned to a heel run, she evolved a lot, which I do agree with that statement. But I feel like Hugger Bayley, it should be a little bit closer between Hugger Bayley and Role Model Bayley.
I think going back to our put over
Hugger
segment,
should have won.
or Bailey. Donnie, it was either you or me that were saying the what if she continued the Hugger Bailey act. Like it wouldn't.
You're right. We just
recently career as much.
I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I think we put her over in our segment.
I think you
I like her
too.
I really love her character now. She's going through some kind of like, she has like multiple personalities or whatever. Like 1 minute she's like, hugging everybody. The next she's, like, get away from me before I rip your jugular out. You know what I mean? But like, as far as like a character, like look standpoint, like, it's essentially the same character, just different traits. And that's why I don't like it.
No, I totally agree. And I will say, like, this new character has a lot of potential. Like, it reminds me of, like, Victoria when she debuted in the Ruthless Aggression era. Like, it has so much potential. And I've been sick and tired of Bailey just... That's why I never liked her WWE Championship run, because she's always been great at being the underdog. But when she gets the championship, well, not with her hugger gimmick, but, like, just in general with the championship, kind of just becomes very bland. And with her character recently, it hasn't been anything exciting until now with this multiple personality thing. So honestly, I'm really looking forward to this new side of Bailey. And I think that this will possibly be her best character.
And Lyra is such a great counterpart to the whole gimmick that Bailey is now. Because like her facial expressions, like, she's like terrified of Bailey 1 minute. The next, she's like, she doesn't know, like, what she's going to get out of Bailey or whatever. Just like, it's all about facial features, you know what I mean? Especially being on TV. I feel like they couldn't have picked anybody better than Lyra.
And to add on to that, this kind of duo reminds me of when Alexa Bliss was kind of turning into that,
going from Golden Goddess to like
Wyatt Six sort of mindset with Nikki Cross by her side when they were tag team champions. I think Lyra Valkyria is kind of taking notes of Nikki Cross at that point and then transitioning it into like today's wrestling. Whereas Bailey's kind of going the same route with Alexa Bliss, or as Alexa Bliss, kind of like, multiple personalities in the head, kind of a splash of Randy Orton with his voices, and the duos is kind of like, I don't know, recreating that essence, I believe.
Donnie, I want to ask you this because you went to the Springfield Monday Night Raw show, and I'm sure we'll mention at some point during this episode. But like, so you saw when Bailey returned, and like she went around hugging everybody. She hugged Corey Graves or whatever. And then later on, we saw a backstage segment where she was like screaming at Lyra, and like 1 minute she was screaming, then the next she's just sitting there like, "What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? Like, how did the crowd, being there in person, how did the crowd like react to that?
Confused, but I will say when she did show up, because it was a return, she has been off TV for a few weeks. She did get a massive pop, and it kind of reminded me, because like I've been really bored of Bailey for a pretty long time now, and hearing that pop reminded me why I was such a huge fan of hers. And then of course he's doing the hugging like in front of all of us. So of course myself, who I was a huge fan of Hugger Bailey, Black and Gold NXT, I was very, very excited about that. And I do hope, and people were like, when she was doing the confused thing, like people were like kind of laughing at it because she was doing her role model gimmick with like the ding dong hello. So like it was like people got a kick out of it, but it did have people interested. Like I didn't see people walk into the bathroom. I didn't see people just sitting there on their phones. People were watching, and she definitely had people tuned in.
Well, I mean, that's what you're going to want.
Which she hasn't been doing for me since SummerSlam 2022 when she had the Damage Control faction.
I will say the one thing I don't really like about Bailey is her theme song.
Oh, it's horrible. It's garbage.
Trash.
It's absolutely garbage. We got Tyrus here in the live chat. We haven't seen how the dual T can go, so hugs to the people who voted this new side of her. Oh, the new side's going to be exciting, and I think it could win a future power of the poll. This new character is refreshing, which both of her characters combined. Agree. And like, this has the potential of being maybe the next Mick Foley, except for women wrestlers, not hardcore style, but when it comes to multiple personalities and larger than life characters. It has that potential if Triple H is patient and can work with her.
Let's hope they don't fuck it up.
I hope they don't.
People aren't really, Triple H isn't really on people's good side nowadays. So people are going to, they're going to find the littlest thing to be like, I told you he's going to fuck another thing up. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's fucking everybody in the IWC. But next week's Put the Power of the Poll is up on the We Are Wrestling community tab over on our YouTube channel. And we're asking you guys, what should WWE bring back to their weekly television shows? And the 4 options we do have here is bringing back the holiday themes, the backstage parties. We have the Raw guest host, general managers, Raw roulette, or you could pick old school episodes where like it's current day and they pretty much go back in time, which they used to do back in the day. I'm going to just say my answer because I'm not going to be here next week on the show since Ben will be back. I might as well share what I'm picking, and that's Raw roulette. Like, Raw roulette was freaking awesome. So I'm going to go with that. Couple things before we do move on to some of our reviews. If you guys haven't checked out the live watch along for AEW All Out, it is up on our channel. Same with WrestlePalooza. And you know what blows my mind here, boys?
What?
We have so many damn dislikes on these watch alongs because I think people think that we're showing the whole pay-per-view here, even though it says watch along. I don't understand it. But we also do have the brand new Raw vlog, speaking of Springfield, Mass. So if you guys want to see my reaction to all the things that happened and getting to see my childhood hero one final time where he played football in college, that vlog is up on the channel right now. And that is it for some of the things you guys can go and check out. Also, Blitzkrieg Pro will be coming to Enfield, Connecticut on Saturday, October 11th, and We Are Wrestling will be in the house. So if you guys are in the Enfield, Connecticut area, come say what's up. All right. Well,
it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have Zachary Wentz that you saw him on NXT last night, and Priscilla Kelly against Charles Mason and a mystery opponent.
Ooh, I cannot wait to find out who that mystery opponent is. I don't even know. Jeremy won't even tell me. So we're all going to find out in live time. But if you can't make it to the show, you could subscribe to IWTV, and it won't cost you $30 like ESPN. It'll only cost you what the old WWE Network cost, $9.99. And you can watch it live in living color.
And there's endless on there. There's
so much
many promotions that there's a live show going on that website at least 7 days a week. So
24/7.
I definitely worth $10. So
definitely. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get into our We Are Wrestling highlight of the week. What was your favorite thing this week in the wrestling world? We'll start off with you, Dan Eddy.
Go to Danny Huckins because I got to think of it real quick.
All right. He's got to think about it because all he can think about is taking that freaking championship from me.
Oh, wait, that could be it. Yeah, that'd be my highlight. Yeah. I was thinking there was something on Monday Night Raw.
There you go. I gave you your highlight of the week.
Yeah. What happened again? Danny? You were kind of glitching.
I lost my freaking championship because Brock Lesnar decided to freaking bury John Cena less than 5 minutes.
Whoa. Oh no!
Not like we've seen that before.
I mean,
I can't wait till we get into this. I can't wait till we get to our WrestlePalooza review.
That's the kind of Brock Lesnar
so much shit to say.
That's essentially the Brock Lesnar you get in every match. So
that's my highlight. I wasn't expecting to go 5 for 5. First of all, let alone winning the championship. So that's probably my highlight of the week.
And he will have a championship next week, ladies and gentlemen. We have talked off camera. He will have a championship. And if you want to see it, good thing I won't get to see it because next week I am off.
But don't worry, I'll pull at you and show my belt every
I'll be sure to take a screen grab and send it to you in the chat.
I'm sure you will. With all the wrestling news that you be sending. Danny, what's your highlight of the week?
My highlight of the week is not something that happened this week. Something that happened last week, and that was WWE obviously being in Springfield. I didn't go to the show. Obviously, having 3 kids, it's hard to cough up $600 for tickets or whatever. But I did go to the pre-show or whatever. Just seeing just driving down the street or whatever, and just seeing the entire street just littered with WWE trucks and just pro wrestling fans just everywhere. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much my highlight because we don't usually get to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was my highlight last week, but I'll give you the pass because you haven't been here in a while. This is your
Was it
first
like
time
a big
back.
tailgate party before people going in
Yeah,
the stadium?
he did like a tailgate party, which was
That's
kind of
pretty cool.
I feel like a lot of people went because they thought there was gonna be WWE superstars there, and there wasn't. At least that I didn't stay that long.
I would have.
So I don't know if
there for that
anybody
too.
did make an appearance or whatever, but
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you guys haven't checked out the Monday Night Raw vlog, it is up on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Nice little plug there. And I did record some of the tailgate there. But
Nice.
getting into my highlight of the week, this week, damn, this is tough because I really, really enjoyed AEW All Out. And I think I'm going to have to go with Jurassic Express reuniting. I think I'm going to have to go with that as my highlight of the week because it was just a really cool moment because I was a day one AEW fan. So I got to see these guys team up during the beginning of AEW and just to kind of see where they evolved to where they at now. It makes me very excited to see what's to come because I don't think we're going to be getting the whole baby face, Jack Perry. I think that we're going to get a little bit of a darker side of Jurassic Express, but it's still going to get over with the crowd. And the tag division could really use it right now, which we'll get into a little bit more when we get into our review.
I was gonna say one of my highlights was from AEW too, but I'll let you know when you guys are onto it.
All right. Well, with that being said, now I think it's time to get into these reviews because there's a lot to talk about. 2 pay-per-views, Premier Live events happened over the weekend. AEW All Out versus WWE WRESTLEPALOOZA, and that does remind me that we do have a bonus power of the poll, and we asked you guys which show was better over the weekend, and I think the results will shock you. %75% of you guys picked AEW All Out, while 25% of you guys picked WrestlePalooza.
Not shocking at all.
So we might as well talk about the tribalism here now that we did get the results from the Maniacs. Which show overall, even if you didn't watch both shows, which one did you enjoy more? Because everybody's been on social media, and if you only watched WrestlePalooza, you know what happened with All Out because you saw it on social media. If you only watched AEW All Out, you knew what was happening with WrestlePalooza with social media. So everybody definitely has an answer here to this.
So let me just preface this by saying I watched WrestlePalooza 4 out of the 5 matches because I got home late, and I didn't watch AEW. Was it AEW All In?
All Out.
All Out, my bad. I preferred AEW, and I don't know half of those wrestlers on that roster. WrestlePalooza to me was a major disappointment, considering I heard the news that there was going to be a bunch of big surprises. There was going to be these 5-star matches with all these big names, and honestly, the only match that caught my attention, for not the reason people might think of, was Stephanie Valkyrie and Io Sky. That was the match of the night for me, regardless of the Devil's Kiss, which was fantastic, by the way. The fact that Valkyrie finally gets recognized as champion in WWE for how little of time she's been with the company, and she started out with NXT, and then moved to the main roster. It was only a matter of time, and I think now is the perfect time to pull the trigger, considering she had a great opponent too with Io Sky.
Oh my God.
There was so much behind
So
Io
good.
Sky coming into that match. So long story short, that was my match of the night, and I would still prefer AEW. But yeah, I prefer AEW all out.
All out. All right. Well, real quick before Daddy, you give your thoughts on this. Angelo here in the live chat. I would have been more pissed if I actually paid $30. VPN. VPN is the way to go. Just want to put that out. And I didn't say that. Stephanie McMahon did. Want to make that clear.
It's not just me that said it. Sports Illustrated said it.
VPNs are still like, and we're not sponsored or whatever, but like, coming from, a content creator or whatever and wanting to consume like, the product, a VPN is the way to go because you'll have literally everything on Netflix. Everything from NXT to the main roster stuff, PLEs, pay-per-view, like everything is on Netflix. So get a VPN.
And didn't like sign like a 10-year deal to some of the countries with Netflix?
ESPN? Oh, Netflix.
No, with WWE and Netflix. So I think that like they pretty much will have everything on Netflix for like the next 10 years from what I saw. Dan Eddy's gonna look it up, but Daddy.
And like most people already have Netflix, so all you gotta do is get a VPN.
Let me guess, you loved WrestlePalooza.
I gotta go with All Out. I missed the John Cena match because of the Hangman and Kyle Fletcher match, whatever.
Well, you actually say through
and
it. I can't wait to talk.
I missed part of the Uso match. I came in right as somebody was going through a table. I can't remember offhand who it was.
Me too.
But AW, like, I'm very critical of AEW. Like, I used to be a defender. I used to be a TK defender, whatever. Can't do it no more just because, like, I watch every week and I want to love the shows. But I feel like they've only had one good Dynamite this entire year. The weekly shows is just fucking asinine. And, like, there's really nothing for me to want to invest my time into. But I watch it because I'm a fan. I mean, I do. Like, I would hate to stop watching and then they finally put on a good show and be like, fuck, I could have seen that. I want AEW to be successful. Let me just, put it on Front Street.
Mm-hmm.
As far as match quality, AEW All Out fucking blows WWE out of the water every single fucking time. My issue with AEW is the storytelling. Like, 5-star matches. 9 times out of 10, though, there's no real story going in. Like, it was a match that was made, a couple days before the actual pay-per-view. And that's like, I want to get invested into stories, man. Like, you can have a 5-star match, but like, look, and I use this expression when I was talking to you personally, like, look at the whole Hangman and Swerve match. Like, that was like, people still talk about it to this day. But also, look at the story that was going into it. Like, we had fucking Hangman burning Swerve's house down. Like, that story going into that match was phenomenal. You know what I mean? Think about if we had a massive story between, like, Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega or whatever the match is, Konosuke Takeshita and Okada. Like, if they really, like, built it over weeks, video packages, really, like, certifying the feud, think of how more invested people would be into the actual match instead of being like, oh, that's cool, and then fucking forget about it 20 minutes later. Like, if I want to see 2 random people fighting, I'll watch UFC. This is pro wrestling. Tell me a good story and get me invested in what's happening on your television show.
What were you going to say, Dan, before I do give my thoughts on that?
Oh, I was just saying, I got the contract details. So WWE has signed a 10-year, $5 billion deal with Netflix to stream Raw in the US, Canada, and the UK, and other regions starting in the January of this year. The duration is 10 years, but they have an option to extend an additional 10 years or opt out after the first 5, and it's worth over another $5 billion. I had it up here.
Well, pretty much what you're trying to say is VPN is the way to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
So I will say this. I love me a good story, and I think that that's really the only thing that is missing a lot of the times with these AEW pay-per-views. But bringing back what you were saying now with UFC, like how it is just like matchmaking because of weight classes and stuff. I think AEW, if they went that direction, because UFC, they do tell stories, but they do it in such a different way with press conferences, interviews, confrontations. And I think if AEW could actually like dip their toes into that, I think we can go somewhere with these storylines, which I will say, I think the shows, me personally, it seems like they are starting to find their identity a little bit more. It's not the same like it was a few years ago, but it's definitely a lot friggin' better than it was in 2024, I think, personally, watching the shows weekly.
Would you guys agree to Angelo's comment?
Which one?
The UFC tells better stories than AEW?
UFC,
I don't have a horse in the
disagree.
race, so I can't.
I disagree because at least with the World Championship, AEW does pretty much do a good job with the story. I will say that, especially with what they've done with Hangman. I think they've done a great job with him as champion. Way better than the first time around. But also here's another take by Angelo. We are wrestling member in the live chat. I'm just tired of every match being the same and needing thumbtacks and fire to make a show interesting. Well, maybe WWE should freaking do something a little interesting like that.
That's one that is another critique that I have is, like, it's cool to see color every once in a while, but I feel like every single week AW does it on TV. Like,
but back in the day, ECW could do it, and it was never a problem.
Well, to be honest, I barely ever go back and watch some of those ECW shows.
I'm just saying, a lot of the people that complain about AEW with the violence and the blood are older gentlemen who watched ECW, and that's the thing. Like,
I don't mind. The thing is, I don't mind seeing it. I like seeing it if it has a good story going into it.
Exactly,
I don't mind
Angelo,
seeing it
because that was a different time, and that's the problem. We talk about it all the time. I think we've all have had conversations about
how many times do we need to see thumbtacks?
I wish WWE could go back to being the Attitude Era. Like, I would love that the Attitude Era could be a thing in 2025. But guess what? It can't. Because when WWE sprinkles some Attitude Era stuff in there, AEW sprinkles it all the time. People have a problem with it. That's the problem. And that's the problem. And especially with social media in 2025, you are not going to be able to make everybody happy. That's the problem here.
Yep. And like, that's the thing with AEW is they do it all the time. They don't go a couple months without it and just give it a break or whatever. Seems like every single week somebody is bleeding, somebody's going through thumbtacks, somebody is going through something. You know what I mean?
But
like, they don't give it time to breathe.
They literally had a death match.
They've had like 17 death matches since actually a lot more than that since I started watching. And I didn't start watching AEW till like 2022, around when Punk came.
I thought that was a newer thing.
I love this shit. I love it. And like, that's the thing I always say, like, all of us pro wrestling fans, we all have different perceptions on what we like. And that's what makes this sports entertainment, pro wrestling business so interesting. Because there's
another
certain
critique
things
that I have is AEW does not, and Tony Khan needs to stop doing this. We do not need 13, 14, 15 matches per card. And we don't need to see fucking 8-man tags and 8-woman tags on the pre-show because you want to get everybody on the fucking show. Nobody should be on a pay-per-view unless it's warranted. Just because you're signed to the company does not mean, you're going to be on the pay-per-view. Tony Khan needs to stop doing that.
I kind of disagree with that, but I also see what you mean because I would like to see more than just 5 or 6 matches that WWE puts on.
I'm not saying they don't like,
but
I feel like 7, 8 matches would be good, but 13 or 14,
they need to get rid of the 0-hour thing or whatever it's called, Donnie, for the PLEs.
That's
the way to add more matches to it.
WWE needs to have pre-show matches. They do need to have
years ago.
Like, instead of having like 3-hour like shows of just Big E and Wade Barrett and legends talking, give us a couple pre-show matches. Like, they can be like
that. But
for instance,
I like the pre-show matches, but like, they need to make sense in a way.
I need to. It
doesn't have to be a big storyline. Just needs to be something.
On a PLE. Maybe not. I'm not saying I need to get like how many matches you said, Danny, like 14 or 15 matches. I don't need that many, but I need more than 5.
Because when you have 14, 15 matches on a card, like from the start to the finish, do you think 5-6 hours after it happens, do you think somebody at the end of the show is going to be like, bro, the first match on the card is awesome? No, because they consume so much wrestling in that time that it just becomes an afterthought. And that's what I don't like. So these men and women are busting their ass, and a couple hours after the show ends, people aren't gonna fucking remember what the fuck happened because it's just too much. People are not wired.
The last few
Everything's
matches.
fucking TikTok.
Yeah, but here,
short form content.
Okay,
fucking,
but here's the thing.
5-second videos and shit like that.
Okay, but to talk about like the time and the matches, I'm gonna say this because I've been to an AEW pay-per-view before. I went to Long Island, New York for AEW World's End. That was the show that Christian Cage and Adam Copeland went against each other. That's where MJF lost his AEW World Championship. And I will say this. I think the way AEW approaches these pay-per-views is they want to give everybody their money's worth. And being at a pay-per-view, it didn't even feel like 13 matches that I was sitting through. Like, at least you're getting your money's worth instead of going to a WWE PLE, paying twice the money just for 5 matches.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's pros and cons to it, but I think the perfect placement for a pay-per-view or a PLE is 7 to 8 matches. I think that's perfect. No more, no less.
I can get behind that.
And again, like I said, not everybody has to be on the show. Like, if it's warranted, cool. But, like, don't be on the show just for the sake of, because you're signed to a company, you need to be on the show. It's not the way shit should go.
I agree. All right, well, with that being said now, let's get into the AEW All Out review. And I'm going to bring Danny up here for this one because he did watch it. Dan Eddy, but here's the thing. If you have any comments you want to make, because I know you probably have seen a lot of the things that have happened through social media, feel free. Feel free to. If there's anything you want to add. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to talk about the match, like what happened. Danny, you and I will go back and forth. And then after we talk about the outcome of the match, if we do have any additional comments we want to make, we'll do that, discuss it for a little bit, and then move on. Just remember, we got like 15 AEW matches and 5 WWE matches. So this is going to be a pretty long review. All right, so here we go with the AEW All Out review. And we're not going to talk about the pre-show because we could all agree nothing really crazy happened there. So we might as well start off with the opening match. We had Christian Cage and Adam Copeland versus FTR. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland teaming up for the first time in very long time. I don't know.
That was the first time they did, well, besides the last pay-per-view that they did, but this is the second time that they teamed up since 2002.
First time since 2002, which is crazy. Adam Copeland paying homage to John Cena, doing the 5-knuckle shuffle. This was one of my favorite moments in the match. I thought they did a way better. They did such a great tribute to Cena. And then we even got the apple juice adjustment right there.
Bro, and then you got everybody in the arena chanting Cena. Bro, I popped this. I was like, bro, Cena's not even signed to the company. He's getting praised in 2 companies on the same day. I was like, bro, this is wild.
And it's crazy because AEW did a better job giving him a farewell just by Copeland doing this than his squash match with Brock Lesnar that we've seen 1,000 times.
Yep.
And then, of course, we did get the spear, and we even got the debut of Beth Phoenix showing up, taking Stokely out, helping Adam Copeland and Christian get the W. But that is not it for this match because afterwards...
That was my highlight of the AEW All Out.
FTR took out Beth Phoenix and Adam Copeland and Christian. And, man... What are our thoughts on like this match like by itself? Like, let's talk about it.
Bro, like it was a nostalgia kick for me, man. Like, cause I grew up in the Attitude Era. Like I grew up, like, I was talking about earlier, like I don't normally watch TNA, but I'm watching Bound for Glory because it's the Hardys and Dudleys for the last time. Like I grew up watching them, TLC matches. WrestleMania 17 is like, I feel like WrestleMania 17 is the best WrestleMania that WWE has ever produced. You know what I mean? So like just growing up and enjoying, Edge, Cope, and Christian, like
isn't that ironic? Like, isn't it ironic that like we got Christian and Edge teaming up in AEW just recently at All Out, and now at Bound for Glory, we're getting Team 3D, we're getting the Dudleys versus the Hardy Boys. three of the greatest tag teams of all time in 2025. I think
That-
there's not enough people appreciating that.
That's one of my complaints, when the Hardys were there or whatever. And I know Matt and Jeff were really upset about it too. The fact that they could never do even a little, nod to their past, whatever. And backstage, walking down the hallway and, stumbling across Christian and Copeland, and having that kind of interaction. I feel like TK really dropped the ball on that because that should have been a thing.
It should have been, but unfortunately, with Jeff Hardy, with his issues, they left AEW, went to TNA right when Adam Copeland joined the promotion. They've always had the worst, AEW has the worst luck when it comes to timing. I noticed that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think this was also Ben's highlight as well. He loved this match. I believe he actually did watch it, and he did enjoy the John Cena tribute that he did.
Because FTR is such a technical team, and they're technical masterminds. They're old school. You know what I mean? I feel like FTR would have thrived back in the 80s, early 90s in the territory days, kind of the Hart Foundation and Junkyard Dog and all these different characters, whatever. FTR would have thrived back then. So I knew this was going to be a good match. But I feel like I was more into it for the nostalgia factor because, seeing Copeland and Christian together again. I unfortunately was having connection issues, so I didn't get to see their match at Forbidden Door. So this is my first time seeing them team up, and
they looked great together. They looked like they never missed a beat.
Exactly, man, and I really enjoyed it. And then what happened at the end, where Mother Wayne, Nick Wayne came out in the fucking wheelchair, and Kip Sabian, handcuffed Copeland to the rope, and you had FTR, Beth Phoenix tried to fight back. She gave Adam a kiss, and she said, "I love you," and she went guns blazing, man, just trying to take out FTR, and they just overpowered her and gave her the pile driver. So
I knew the storyline wasn't going to end, which is what I liked here, that they let Adam Copeland and Christian win this match, because I hope it does lead to Wrestle Dream. FTR gets the second win because they find a way to cheat. And then I said it, Full Gear, give me a dog collar tag match with them two versus FTR, because it's going to get to that point. And I think that's what we're building towards. And this is good storytelling here. And I wish more of the feuds that AEW has would put in the effort like they are here with this feud.
I will be right back, bro.
Alrighty, you'll be right back. Well, I will talk about these next couple matches here. I'll fly through them. So real quick,
I'll contribute when I can.
All right. Well, moving on now to the next match we do have here. Big Bill versus Eddie Kingston. This was Eddie Kingston's return. And I really don't like the fact that this was just announced. Eddie Kingston, they should have done something bigger with him. I think he would have gotten a bigger pop than Pac did.
Was it just a throw in match?
John Moxley. So what they did here, Dan, was pretty much they had these two go against each other. So they wanted people to actually tune in to AEW All Out. So they thought announcing Eddie Kingston, who's been away from television for over a year, that would get people to tune in. So instead of doing a surprise, an open challenge where he shows up, or because he does have a relationship with John Moxley, they did something there. They decided to, let's just announce him. Maybe he'll draw some old school AEW people to watch the show. And I didn't like that, but pretty much we got a strong style match here between the two. Eddie Kingston looked all right, but he did win. And the match wasn't that good, but I am going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he has been away for a little while. Anything, Bradley, you have a good point here. Kingston looks sluggish. Agree. Yeah, worst match on the card. Definitely not the best match. I can agree with that.
Is this Kingston right here?
This is Kingston right here.
Yeah, he looks sluggish right now.
But hey, he's got plenty of time, though. I think he's just a little rusty. He was out for a while. So let's see how he's going to look the next few matches. But I don't know. Him and Big Bill, it was set up to fail.
We talked about it on the prediction podcast last Thursday. If you guys haven't seen it, I mean, I guess you guys can check it out. But we talked about like how this shouldn't have happened. You know, this whole like, you know, he's been out for, 16, 18 months, however long it is, and you just have, it's supposed to be a big return. And you just have Big Bill calling him out on a random episode of fucking Collision or Dynamite, whatever the fuck it was. It shouldn't have happened that way. I feel like.
Wait, can I just ask you something real quick, Eddie?
What?
Do you think if Eddie Kingston didn't have this match against Big Bill, what if they didn't have Pac return and they had Eddie Kingston in that role? Do you think that it would have had a bigger pop? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, because even newer AEW fans, I feel like, know the history between Moxley and Kingston because they were a tag team for a long time.
He had a shirt that said Claudio sucks eggs.
Exactly. And like he's always thought like, Claudio and like all these guys were like a bad influence on, on Moxley. Like, like Moxley and him have a very good friendship or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if you did have him like have some kind of involvement in the coffee match, whatever, and like people didn't know he was there and it didn't get mentioned or anything like that, I feel like that would have, built a little bit more intrigue in his return instead of just having him in a random match that was just thrown together for. Has Big Bill and Eddie Kingston ever had any kind of interaction?
Not that I know of, but I know Jericho and Kingston have. So I don't know if he ever did anything with him there.
But
I can't recall.
But during this whole call out, Big Bill didn't mention one thing about Jericho, to my knowledge.
No, because I think Jericho's gone. I think like we could all like he's going to WWE Royal Rumble.
So like him calling out Kingston, as a favor to Jericho wouldn't have made much sense if he didn't mention Jericho during the call out in the first place. So Big Bill
make sense.
No
missed opportunity.
It doesn't, and that's what I'm talking about.
But I do want to read this comment here by Boris, and then we'll move on to our next match. Boris here in the live chat, putting Eddie with Hook. No one cares about Hook. No pop.
People care about Hook, but you're putting these guys together because they're from New York. And that's literally the only reason why.
I will say I want to see where this goes because I do think eventually you could actually have them build up as a tag team for a little bit. And then I think they should have Hook turn heel on Eddie. And then there you go. Give us something there. Because I think that maybe that's going to happen. One or the other is going to turn. And I think we're going to get a storyline out of it because Hook has already stated like he wants to be a single star. So now let him team up with Eddie for a little bit and then have him turn heel. I think Hook needs it. Honestly.
He needs something, but so does Eddie Kingston. And you would think like,
too.
And like, I used to be one of those guys that, like that would sort of defend Eddie, about the whole, like, his body and how he looks or whatever. But like, I mean, bro, like you had 18 months and like, I know you were rehabbing or whatever, but like you had 18 months to really like, get in the gym, really fucking build yourself up into this fucking monster. And he's literally the same. He looks the same as he did when he fucking left. You know what I mean? I don't want to be one of the, I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't want to be, somebody.
Yeah, the only one here that's a bodybuilder is Dan Eddy in Rage.
Yeah, but like I don't want to fucking like, bash on somebody because of the way they look. But like when your job is to be a pro wrestler and like you're out for 18, 17 months, whatever, it's like, bro, like at least look like you care. Like get in the gym, start fucking lifting some weights. You don't have to be fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, but like at least try.
How do you feel about that, Dan Eddy? Like
full transparency wasn't listening. I heard my name.
Oh yeah, no. So
about
like,
being in shape.
Yeah, like being in shape as a wrestler. Like, do you think like
he had 18 months to get in the gym and at least work on like he act like he cares? I just don't think he did take advantage of it.
that could be an issue because I remember, well, you say 18 months. That reminds me when Randy Orton was out for almost 18 months. And he came back like
Fucking
30
yoked.
pounds, 30 more pounds of muscle. Like he looked different. Like he looked yoked, jacked. Like I was like, the fuck? And like, he put the work. And so I see what you're saying, Danny, because if you had 18 months to do things and you knew that this return was coming, maybe not the match right away, but you knew you were going to be back in the ring, I probably would have worked on my physical appearance a little bit more. Just by seeing that picture that Donnie had up a little bit ago, like that doesn't look like you put in a lot of effort.
Hey, what's going on, Destry? What's going on, Hollow Cards? Hope you guys are doing good on a lovely Wednesday. But let's move on now to our next match here. And I'll let you take this away, Daddy.
Bro, this was just a car crash, man. Like you don't even have to go, spot to spot during this. Like
car crash. We had a lot of car crashes. You got to be more specific for the audio listeners out there, Daddy. What's happening here?
Mark Briscoe was going through a shit ton of thumbtacks, man. And Bryce Remsburg took a photo and posted on social media of what his boots look like after the match. And bro, like you couldn't even see the bottom of his boots. Like that's how many thumbtacks he had stuck in his shoes.
So we're talking about the tables and thumbtacks match with MJF.
Yes, we're talking about phenomenal match. This is like, I'm gonna go back to the fact that like MJF can work any kind of style, and
he's one of the best
where he
for
thrives.
a reason.
He can be a technical wrestler. He can be a hardcore wrestler. He can be, I think he's done moonsaults in the past or whatever just to prove that he can fucking do it. Like, MJF is like a wrestler. I don't even know how to explain it, to be honest. Like, he can just anything.
He's a jack of all trades.
Anything that you want him to do, he can fucking do. Like, the dude, and that's like where his career is gonna like skyrocket, because when he does eventually go to WWE, like we know that's where he's eventually going to end up at some point. It's like, it's definitely going to 100% happen.
I don't know about that, because I don't think Papa H is showing up to his wedding. Tony Khan did, though. Postponed the whole damn show for that wedding.
But like MJF, bro, like, and like even his physical appearance, like, he didn't look as nearly as jacked now as he did when even in 2022 when I first started watching. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely tell he put in the work. Like, he's really working on himself. Like, and like he's doing Hollywood movies now. He was in Happy Gilmore, which was funny. He's has another movie coming up.
So good.
You know what I mean? I feel like Tony Khan's not taking full advantage. Like, this guy should be in fucking magazines. This guy should be in fucking newspapers. This guy should be in, the LA Times. This guy should be everywhere. And he should also be like the one person on your show that people look at like a megastar. I just don't think, Tony Khan really appreciates that and is really putting forth the effort to really showcase him like a superstar.
I think we're going to get there, because I do think when MJF does come back from filming his newest movie, I think that he's going to come back and he's going to go against Hangman Adam Page. And I think the beginning of 2026 is when he's going to win the championship. And then I think he's going to go on holding the belt until probably All In the summertime. And then I think that's where Darby Allin's going to finally get his moment and beat him with the headlock takeover move, which is what their whole story has been like since like early time. So like, honestly, right now, I'm okay with MJF taking the backseat a little bit, because he is pursuing Hollywood right now. And honestly, we need somebody that knows how to elevate talent. And I think that Mark Briscoe, I love the Briscoes. Him and Jay, hold on a minute, incredible tag team. And Mark Briscoe, I feel like he's finally starting to get comfortable with being a singles wrestler. And I think MJF brought out Mark Briscoe. This Mark Briscoe, I'm going to pull up this picture right now. I've been waiting to see this Mark Briscoe in AEW for the longest time. And I think having this match under his belt, beating MJF in a great friggin' hardcore match. This is a step in the right direction, and I hope that this does lead to Mark Briscoe doing something a little bit bigger, maybe possibly getting his first championship, singles belt in AEW.
Yeah. But my thing is like,
because he looked really good.
My thing is like, look at how WWE treats, John Cena.
It is built exactly. Angelo said it. It's building a star by beating MJF.
It is building a star, but you had Mark Briscoe beat MJF in a hellacious match, and now tonight he's gonna be teaming up with Orange Cassidy and the conglomeration against whoever the fuck. Like, there's no, I feel like that's a step backwards. Like, he just beat a former AEW World Champion.
But here's the thing: isn't he going against Don Callis' family?
I don't fucking know.
So he's going against Don Callis' family, and this could lead to maybe him getting a pinfall on Kyle Fletcher in this match, and they can have a match at Wrestle Dream for the championship.
That's if Kyle Fletcher's going to be in an actual participant in the match, bro. How many people does Don Callis have? It could be anybody.
They could build something here.
It could be anybody.
I think that's the problem with a lot of you fans. You want to jump to conclusions so damn fast. Patience.
No,
let's see what happens on Dynamite.
My thing is, MJF is a superstar.
He is a superstar.
He should be the one person that can get asses in seats, that can get viewers to watch your show. And he's just not being treated like it. And he's
going to film a movie. They wrote him off of TV. I think that this was the right decision for this time.
I think it was the right decision.
And I think MJF will get his revenge.
I don't feel like Mark Briscoe beating MJF and then now he's going to be teaming up with Orange Cassidy and the conglomeration against whoever the fuck. Like, that's a downgrade, in my opinion.
Hey,
like, if they
want
to do Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe in a one-on-one match, then I'd be like,
no, that's a pay-per-view match. You have to realize this is a weekly television show. We shouldn't be having friggin' two of the greats going at it.
Bro, during the Attitude Era,
save it for the pay-per-view.
By the way, they used to have a title change every single fucking week in the main event. Do not tell me.
Yes, but
how is
we can't have
MJF, a former AEW World Champion,
for the
and now a couple of days later you're going to be teaming up with the conglomeration against whoever the fuck? How is that a step up? That's a step backwards. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, but he could beat them, and then that leads to him going against Kyle Fletcher at Wrestle Dream on pay-per-view. Because I think Mark Briscoe versus Kyle Fletcher, that would be a good pay-per-view match.
I wish I had some rage with popcorn right now.
That's how it gets. Shit gets heated between me and this.
Yes, it does.
I think, Donnie, you need one of those sound bites for like the ringing the bell. Like if you guys are gonna have one of these debates.
Like a sound effect,
let's get it on. Like Celebrity Deathmatch back in the day. Let's get it on.
But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But moving on to our next match here, because we have a lot more to go. We have a trios match, the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and Gates of Agony. And I thought that this was a fun match, and I think the right people won this match. I was very happy that the Hurt Syndicate put over Ricochet and Gates of Agony.
I told you during the predictions, I was like, this is what's going to happen. I said Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin were going to get taken out, and their MVP was going to get the pinfall.
He needs a butt promo to it.
Bro, man. My crash outs are real, but my crash outs are fucking legit reasons, man.
They're justified.
I would just crash out for no reason.
Sometimes.
But on the prediction stream that we did on Thursday, I told you this was going to happen. I was like, I said in a different way. I thought maybe they were going to add insult to injury and have like maybe Shelton or Bobby like handcuffed to the ropes or whatever. And then they were going to like pass save fucking Shelton. And then they were going to, beat the hell out of MVP and beat him. Went a little bit different, but still we got the same result that I said we were going to get where MVP ate the pinfall. So I was half right, I guess.
Yeah, they pretty much took out MVP, which was good. And I will say, my perception on the Hurt Syndicate, they're starting to get back on my good side now that they put over Ricochet and Gates of Agony, because now what I hope out of this, and I hope you agree with me here because I know we're going to be disagreeing a lot more when we get into the other matches, but I think that Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, they should be the ones to beat the Ops for the trio titles.
I can see it happen. Bro, like Gates of Agony and Ricochet,
yeah, they look
like,
so good.
They look so good as a team. Like they legit, like Ricochet looks like their younger brother, bro. Like if you didn't know anything about wrestling and you saw these dudes walking down the street, you would swear that they were legitimate brothers. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. And you want to talk about storylines because I am going to mention this. Like if the match did have a storyline, this one did because they cost them the championships at Forbidden Door.
Yeah,
so I do want to mention
building
that.
a story. They have.
Because I am going to praise AEW when they do something like that.
Yep, 100%.
But I thought it was great. I thought it was a great trios match. And honestly, I hope this does lead to some trio titles for the Gates of Agony and Ricochet. I think they deserve it.
You know, I watched a lot of reviews on this show, and one common denominator is
we will get into that, Angelo.
Everybody is praising this trios match and what a great job everybody in the match did. And like to no exception, like I think it was a fun match. It was an entertaining match. It had a story going into it, you know, because don't forget the Gates of Agony and Ricochet, they cost
yep, I did say that already.
The titles. Yep. You know what I mean? So there was a story going into it, and I feel like that's what made people invest in the match even more. Again, it all goes down with story.
Before we get into the next match, I do want to ask Dan Eddy this because I know you are a WWE fan. I would actually like to know your thoughts on Ricochet because he has pissed off a lot of WWE fans with his social media antics. And just recently, JBL actually put over Ricochet, and he's been saying what I've been saying all along here, that Ricochet is pretty much just going on. He's taking advantage of social media, putting over his company, and he's getting the IWC keyboard warriors pissed off, and he's doing it on purpose. I've been saying that from the start, but I would like to know, because you are a WWE fan, what's your thoughts on Ricochet since leaving?
Well, first of all, JBL is an idiot, so I don't listen to anything he says. Because I just find him annoying. But as far as
JBL was
Ricochet
cool,
goes,
man, when we met him.
I mean, yeah, maybe his character, yeah, maybe he's just doing his character work when he was saying that about Ricochet. Who knows? But as far as Ricochet goes, I haven't really been paying attention to him since he left WWE because, like I said, I can't watch AEW constantly, so I can't make a comment of like how Ricochet is now. But I did see a highlight on one of the streamers that I follow on Instagram. They had the match on the bottom half of the reel, and they were showing Ricochet just kind of acting goofy in the ring. And I definitely think he's a lot more outgoing, to say the least, for AEW matches, whereas as far as like WWE, he was sort of trapped in this sort of box where he had to act a certain way or like kind of go off the cuff, maybe like rarely at times. Whereas AEW, I think he's more open to act like who he is as like a real person, like in real life. So I'm glad he's shining and doing well in AEW. Do I want it back in WWE? Maybe, maybe not. So I can't really talk about it that much.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, but I think like you really hit the nail on the head there with your take. So that was good. That was good. But Angelo here in the live chat, are you going to talk about the AEW announcement? Can't wait for more women tag titles to mean nothing. We'll get into that.
Yeah, there's a TK announcement. Everybody seemed to think it has to do with women tag team titles, which I don't think should happen.
I think it should, but that's we'll talk about that after the All Out review. All right, well, this one has gotten some controversy, and we'll get into that after we talk about the match. Mercedes Moné versus Rio for the AEW TBS Championship.
Damn.
And Mercedes Moné retained the title. I don't think that shocked anybody. But the reason it has created some controversy because TNA Knockout Hall of Famer Gail Kim has pretty much made some comments about Rio, comments that we've heard from a lot of other wrestling journalists out there, include names like Jim Cornette, who have pretty much come at Rio for pretty much the way she dresses and being a smaller wrestler. And I want to know your thoughts on that, Diddy, because I know a lot of people right now are not fans of Rio. I was not a fan. Like, the match was good, but there was no story to it. Rio, I'm tired of her every 6 months. She does a title match, disappears. They literally think she's Roman Reigns. I'm sick
This
of
was
it.
the first person. This was the first time I've heard of her, so that kind of
The guy 123 said it best. Solid match, nothing special.
I mean, it was an okay match. I didn't care for it. Like, going into it, there was no story. Rio literally showed up, one night on Dynamite or whatever, and that the match was pretty much made. And just like Donnie said, like, Rio, she shows up, gets the title match, and then, goes back to Japan or whatever, wherever she comes from, for 6 months to a year, and then comes back, gets the title match, or vice versa. I don't think she's anything special. I do know that she's very small, and I feel like they treat her like a big deal because she started pro wrestling when she was like 7 or something like that.
9 years old.
Well, I mean, still, bro. How many 9-year-olds are fucking bumping around? You know what I mean? There was nothing special. I didn't really care for it. Mercedes has been nothing but a fucking joke since she came into AEW.
I disagree.
And there she has literally.
I think she does need better storylines. Yeah.
I feel like he waited for Rage to be gone to say that statement.
I don't understand why she has 9 titles and they don't explain why. They don't explain anything about it. They don't show any footage from any of the matches. They don't.
It's kind of.
She comes home. She comes to Dynamite, on Wednesday, and she just so happens to have another title, but no explanation. But yet,
there should be an explanation.
Josh Alexander is the Maple Leaf Pro World Champion, and he doesn't have the title on TV.
Kind of like a NASCAR driver just getting another sponsor to be put on their
jacket. But it's just a part of her character too. I'm over the whole title run thing, but I will say, if I'm an independent wrestling promoter and I have Mercedes Monday on my show, I'm giving her a freaking championship. I'm having it exposed on pay-per-view and weekly television. I think it's brilliant. Whoever's putting their damn titles on her.
How does that help when they don't tell you any backstory about the title?
It's still being showcased instead of being inside a gymnasium or a bingo hall. Like, it's being showcased on freaking television. The logo is bright, slapped right in the middle of the championship. For an independent promoter, it's brilliant. But when it comes to AEW, not so much.
It's like their sponsor. Like I said, with the NASCAR driver, you see them jumping out of the car, and then all of a sudden they have a new sticker on their jacket for like some random company they may have not heard of.
But I don't find the problem.
Shinier.
I don't find the whole problem with her holding the title. She's just being a heel. She's rubbing it in your face that she has 9 championships. She's doing her job as a heel.
Just like what Angelo said.
Legit
He has
boss.
not seen one person ask what those companies are, like what the titles are. You know what I mean?
Did they mention a commentary?
If they had some like video footage and like implemented it into her character legitimately,
kind of like what they did. I get what you're saying. Kind of like what they did last week on Dynamite with the Young Bucks, like blowing the money on BTE. They showed that like in like the little side by side. So that's what you're kind of saying.
Mercedes has a YouTube channel. She could easily have somebody film some.
Wait, did it? No, there's a couple. I know not all 9 championships they haven't done it for, but I know there's at least a couple of them that they have done the play-by-play with. I think I could be wrong. Rev Pro maybe, but I don't know. But I don't think
they would show Rev Pro because Rev Pro is.
She isn't a nice person either. That I disagree. I met her.
Donnie's met her several times.
One time,
but
got Rage 8x10 personalized to him, and she said that I'm a good friend.
Yeah.
But just in general, here's what I got to say about Rio before we move on to the next match. I think Rio is a good wrestler, but that's it. Like, there's really nothing except she's a good wrestler. Like, she could work. They put on a good match. I thought it was a little bit too long. And, like, it was making me mad because I was like, I'm going to miss WrestlePalooza. And this match could be on a Dynamite or a Collision. Maybe, like, one of those little specials that they were doing. Not on AEW All Out. And now watch. Rio is not going to be on TV for months. And she's going to come back 3 months from now. Go for the TBS title. Or, well, no, she already went for the TBS title. She's going to go for the AEW World title because she was the first champion. And that's all we keep hearing about her. I want to see maybe a character change for her because she could work. She's a good wrestler. And, like, I think size doesn't matter in wrestling sometimes. And, like, with her, like, maybe just change her look. Like, stop dressing up like you're in elementary school. Like, change your look up a little bit. Maybe add some edge, something to shut Gail Kim, shut Jim Cornette, shut these critics up. She needs a change in her character. She's been the same since 2019.
It does,
or probably all the way back to New Japan.
I don't know if you guys feel this way, and you know, I don't want it to come off wrong because it very well could. You know, I could say what I mean, and people could be like, "Oh, you know, you shouldn't be saying that." But I feel like every single Japanese wrestler in North America is the same. Literally every single one. They perform the same. They dress the same. Like,
disagree.
Well, it has to do with the culture too. The same with the luchadors. You can say a lot of people wear the mask, but it's part of their style of wrestling.
That is a good point.
So,
yeah, that is right because they could, you know, they want to bring their culture to a bigger stage. So I don't think that's like real. Like, you're not wrong for thinking that because, like, I think they want to bring their culture to a bigger stage where there's going to be millions or hundreds of thousands of people getting to see them. But I wouldn't say like they all dress the same. Like, I do think that they are all different in their own way, but they do have similar like coats. And, yeah.
Yeah. Angela, it basically is just like watching a movie. That's why I said I wish I had Rachel's popcorn right now. I wish I could contribute more, but I don't know a lot about AEW, which I know I should, but I feel like
we're gonna figure out something. We're gonna get you access to a pay-per-view.
I do not.
Oh, I was gonna say
I'm gonna figure
Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock.
I'm gonna figure something out here for Dan Eddy. I'll figure something out. But moving on to our triple threat unified championship match, we had Jurassico versus Takeshita versus Okada, and people were saying that this was possibly match of the night here. And all three guys, they said this match, let alone, was better than WrestlePalooza. And I will say this, just overall with this match.
One match was?
That's what people have been saying.
Wow.
And Okada did retain his championship. And I will say this, I want to give my thoughts on Okada real quick. Even though there really was, like, there has been a little bit of storyline with him and Takeshita, with the Don Callis family. And I think Jurassico was in there just to showcase his skills. It's part of the CMLL AEW deal. So to let him showcase his skills and be the one to take the pinfall, like you said last week, Danny, I think they did a great job here furthering the tension between the two. And overall, Okada, I think ever since he had his feud with Kenny Omega going into All In this year, ever since they unified the titles, I think we're finally getting Rainmaker Okada. This is the Okada I've been waiting for. And they absolutely killed it in this match. Jurassico, I'm very impressed with his work. I plan on going and watching some of his work from the past. They killed it, all three guys. Oh, it's Dorado. Sorry. Dorado.
Yeah, it's Dorado. I was like, Jurassico.
I'm taking a sip. I got that.
Yeah, the match was fire. And like I told you, one of two things is going to happen. I said either Okada and Konosuke were going to be too wrapped up in each other and Dorado was going to end up taking advantage. That did start off the match. And that was like a central part of the story during the entire match. You know, they would take out Dorado, you know, Konosuke and Okada would get into each other's space, whatever, and then Dorado would come in and, you know, start attacking them, whatever, and they were just so wrapped up with each other that they, you know, he was the afterthought. And I told you, I was like, either Dorado is going to win because of Okada
Of
and
the
Konosuke
tension
them
between
being,
the two. Yep.
the tension between them, or Okada was going to retain and Konosuke was going to eat the pin. That did happen. And I do feel like this is going to drive a wedge between Konosuke and the Don Callis family. Because I feel like Don Callis, he doesn't see that he doesn't think anything is wrong. He thinks everything is fantastic. He thinks it's just being competitive. But I feel like it's going to drive a wedge between Konosuke and the Don Callis family. I do feel like Konosuke ends up leaving the Don Callis family because Don Callis is going to choose Okada over Konosuke. And then it's going to lead to a match between Konosuke and Okada at Wrestle Dream. And I do feel like Konosuke takes the title from Okada.
Well, we do
if not at Wrestle Dream, World's End.
So we do have a couple comments here in the live chat. We have the guy 123. Okada hasn't done it for me in the ring in AEW the times I watched him. I recommend going back, watching Forbidden Door, him versus Swerve. That was a really good match. Angelo in the live chat, my favorite match of All Out because it had story and it was good grabs, just the three of them.
Yep.
Agree with that. And we got Tyrus in the live chat.
Babyface, Angelo. That's where I think it's his head.
This match even made Dorado look almost equal to Okada and Takeshita, not even an afterthought. Agree. And I think they all looked really good here, and that's all you want in the triple threat match. And this unified title, I think they're doing a really good job here. I had questions about it at first. I did like what they were doing. I love the international belt because they did a good job with it. Continental title, I didn't care about. But this unified belt, they have done a pretty good job with it. And I think Okada's doing a good job.
We have heard about the Masha stuff. Because there's very little information, I highly doubt we're going to be discussing it today.
Yeah, so
possibly be on a future episode when more details come out.
Well,
but I don't want to
be
talking.
I'll address this. So, like with the Masha Slamovich thing with Akira, we're gonna probably do a whole separate extra on just that when we get more information because of the subject of the topic.
Yeah,
and
we don't want to
get demonetized. We don't want to get demonetized this week's episode.
Not even that, but if it turns out to be all bullshit, we don't want to make a stream and talk about something unless we have more details, whatever. Because I don't want to slander Masha. We've met her. She came to Blitzkrieg, whatever. She was very pleasant to everybody.
Same with Akira too. Akira, we've gotten the opportunity to sponsor some matches as well for him. So we want to just wait until there's more information out here because we haven't really heard her side yet. And there's two sides to every story. But moving on, Danny, I'll let you take this one away with the next match.
Again, man, another car crash for those of you that are just tuning into the audio on Apple and Spotify. We had the coffin match, Darby Allin and Moxley, and
loved it.
This match was everything that I knew it was gonna be, man. We got everything from plastic bags to screwdrivers to fucking thumbtacks. I'm pretty sure we're in the match somewhere, knowing
everything.
Whatever. Everything was in this, and we even got
violence.
The most memorable thing about this match was Pac showing up in clothes. I didn't even know he knew what a store was. I didn't. The guy's always in his underwear. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know it was him because he cut his hair. And like you said, kind of
you looked like Kyle O'Reilly
for a minute.
From afar. So I was like, not up close.
this was wild, but it's weird seeing. I never thought I would ever say this, but it's weird seeing a man in clothes because he never wears any.
All he would wear is his tights, Dan Eddy. Everywhere he went,
he
out
would
in the
show
street,
up in the arena with his tights. He would
arrive in a car in his tights. He would be backstage in his tights. He'd wrestle in his tights. Never wore a shirt, never wore jeans, never wore pants. Just his tights. Wait a minute. Tyrus in the live chat. He looks like Mickey Mouse in human.
Now I can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it. Holy shit. He really does look like Mickey Mouse.
I was going to say he came out from the Shire and actually found out what clothes were.
If we were to bring back comment of the week, Tyrus, you got the comment of the month right there.
Now you're going to have Donnie fucking make a meme and post it all over social media.
But of course, Jon Moxley walked away with the win here. I disagreed with the winner of this match. I thought it should have been Darby Allin. I just hope this does open the door for a Pac versus Darby match where Darby does beat Pac and then works his way back to Jon Moxley and beats him. Because you can't just have Moxley beat him every single time.
I'm not 100%. I did want Darby Allin to win at
was that, Dan?
I was going to say, didn't Darby Allin just come back recently?
Yep, he made his return at AEW All In.
Yeah, he made the huge return. He was on like Mount Empress or something, right?
Dan Eddy, and this goes for everybody else in the chat. I highly recommend you guys check this out. Jericho has a podcast. He's had a podcast for years. It finally got put like on YouTube as like a video podcast, which is awesome. He did like an hour-long episode with Darby Allin. I recommend everybody watching it, man. Just look at Talk is Jericho on YouTube, and it should
fuck Talk is Jericho. I'm gonna tell you what you guys should watch. No, you want to know a better episode? Go watch DDP's Yoga Gauntlet. He did an interview with Darby Allin and even showed the footage of stuff that happened at Mount Everest.
That was good.
Honestly, just go watch both of them.
Watch them both.
I love Darby Allin, but made me love him even more after watching that DDP episode. Like, so good. Like, Dan Eddy, I'm going to send you that link because you really do have to see it. And I would love to hear your thoughts on it next week.
Especially like since you don't know much about,
you are always on time with your homework. I'll give you that.
You know, it'll like give you a little inside look or whatever. But I did want Darby Allin to win at first, and then
facts.
I guess we can talk about it because it does coincide with what happened in the match. I think it was before the main event. We had a backstage segment.
Wait, I trust me. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Darby Allin set Moxley on fire. I feel like this is leading to an Inferno match between Mr. Moxley and Mr. Darby.
Look at that picture.
That's
insane.
Cool. Pyro.
Freaking
Bro, I'm so mad, man. The one time I could have met Darby Allin, I had to stream that day because WWE had a Saudi show, and he was right up the street at Zombie Hideout. And I could have met him, but I was like, "Fuck, I gotta stream." That's how dedicated I am to
grind is real.
Man. So,
but Boris here in the live chat, something we didn't mention: Danielson was great on commentary for this match. Danielson's been killing it. It makes me more excited watching AEW.
We did not get JR on the show.
Huh?
We did not get JR on commentary for any of the matches. Right. I just now noticed that.
That would have been kind of cool. That would have been kind of cool to hear him and Bryan Danielson talk a little bit. I'm sure we'll get that. Maybe he had something going on. Because I know Tony Khan's pretty good about that, especially with JR. Like if JR has something going on, like usually he gives him the time to like focus on his health and other things, which is good. Like I love Danielson on commentary. Like that needs to be permanent. But let's get into the next match here. We have a fatal four-way
fire match, bro. That if AEW wanted to implement like an Inferno match and they didn't want to take the IP from WWE, a Ring of Fire match, that actually
Ring
sounds
of Fire would
legit.
be cool. I like that.
How would that go about?
They put like this contraption around the ring, and it's like with propane. It's like on fire. So like the ring, like outside the ropes, like the entire ring is on fire. I recommend you watch the match between Kane and Undertaker. But the way you win is you have to set your opponent on fire.
I'll pull up a picture, actually. I'll show you what it looks like.
You have to set them on fire?
Yeah, the winner, you win the match by setting your opponent on fire.
Yeah, it's like an old school match.
There's ways to do it safely, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I would not put it past Tony Khan. After everything that we've seen, I would not put it past Tony Khan to have
Darby and Mox. They should do a Ring of Fire.
I feel like that's what I mean, bro. Like, why?
So Dan, this is what it looks like. That's right there. That's the Inferno match.
Oh, dude, inner core memory unlocked. I remember that now. That was crazy. What's up?
My thing was frozen for a minute, but there we go. We're back to normal.
Ring of Fire match, man. I feel like why like
book it, TK.
I couldn't think of any other reason why he would set Moxley on fire like that. Like, it has to be leading to something. Hopefully.
Yeah, honestly, like the Ring of Fire name is better than the Inferno. I do like that as well.
I think the WWE owns the Inferno match, like the actual like IP of the name. So if they wanted to like go around that, Ring of Fire. It's a ring, it's on fire, it makes sense. A Human Torch match.
Well, let's hope. But now let's move on now to our Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. We had, what's her name? I keep getting her name wrong.
Tekla,
the Toxic Spider versus JB Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Timeless Toni Storm. And the biggest upset of the night, probably this whole weekend, Chris Statlander winning the AEW Women's World Championship. And I do want to get my thoughts on this first, because Chris Statlander is somebody I've been following for years, and I'm happy for her. She's finally getting her moment, but at the same time, this would have been so much bigger if it was a one-on-one match with her and Timeless Toni Storm. Why did we have to give her a championship in the Fatal 4-Way? That didn't matter as much. Love JB Hayter, love the Toxic Spider, but we could have made this happen in a one-on-one match. And this was a missed opportunity here, because you had Toni Storm beat Mercedes Moné, who has 9 championships, by the way. She defeated Athena, who's been Ring of Honor champion for over 1,000 days. But then she loses a Fatal 4-Way with a roll-up to Chris Statlander. And this is not taking away anything from these incredible women, but I just think that it would have been bigger in a one-on-one scenario. And I'm not happy about that, but I am happy for Chris Statlander. And I do want to see what she could do with a world championship, because she did have a good TBS title run.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a lot of people's complaints is, that Chris Statlander won the title or whatever. Like, I was shocked when it happened. Like, if you go back to my stream or whatever, and I think I even have a clip of it on TikTok and Instagram, I had my mouth open. I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't think it was going to happen. I think I even mentioned on the prediction show, I was like, there's no way Toni Storm's going to lose this. And just because the way she was booked.
Yeah, because I think you and I were like fantasy booking too. Like, Wrestle Dream, Chris Statlander beats her. I think we were talking about that.
I think we were talking about something like that. Maybe somebody else in the chat can
like a possible heel turn or something.
But yeah, a lot of people's complaint is the fact that she won and it wasn't a one-on-one match, and Toni Storm should have won this and that. Like,
it would have been such a good one-on-one match with a good story. It would have been so good.
I feel like with everybody saying that it shouldn't have happened, that is horrible, because this is Chris Statlander. I think this is our first time winning the AEW Women's Championship.
This is her first time winning the world title. She did win the TBS.
And it doesn't seem like many people like it. And that is such a horrible thing.
Well, Toni Storm right now is like the most popular women's wrestler with her larger-than-life character. Like, it should have been in a one-on-one match with a better story for her to lose the title. And now it's like, where do we go from here with Toni Storm? Nothing. I'm not taking nothing away from Chris Statlander or JB Hayter or Tekla. Like, I'm not taking anything away from them. But where do we go from here with Toni Storm? Like, it's not like JB Hayter or Tekla cost her to match.
Here's what I feel like should have
happened. Very rushed. That's the word. Very rushed.
Here's what I think should have happened. I feel like this should have been a one-on-one match between Tekla and Toni Storm, and the winner goes on to Wrestle Dream and has a match with Chris Statlander. And it would have been able to allow you to book over the next couple of weeks towards that eventual match. Because I feel like the main story in this match, I don't know much about what Chris Statlander's involvement or Jamie Hayter's involvement was, but Toni Storm and Tekla have an issue going on. On Dynamite, Tekla
Tekla's been having issues
cutting a
with
promo.
JB Hayter too.
Yeah, Toni Storm was cutting a promo, and Tekla came out and tried to fucking beat her ass, like legitimately. Started fucking cussing and fucking going all crazy on a promo after a match. So I feel like Chris Statlander should have won like a number one contenders match, and then she faces the winner of Tekla versus Toni Storm that happened at All Out, and that match could have eventually been at Wrestle Dream. But unfortunately, Tony Khan didn't see it that way. He wanted to go a different direction, and well, this is where we are. And the fact that this is their first time winning the AEW Women's Championship, and everybody's complaining about the way it was handled, I mean, that's got to do something to your mental, your mental health in a way.
But she is going to be defending her title tonight against Mina for no reason. But honestly,
great.
if you want I'm just saying, if you want Chris Statlander to be a good champion, honestly, having her be a defending champion, doing something similar to what Sami Zayn's doing with the U.S. title, I think could be a good thing for her to solidify her as a legitimate champion. I don't see a problem with it.
That's one thing that I've never really liked. I understand, with a mid-card title doing an open challenge, but I never thought world champions should be giving out open challenges because when you're a world champion, bro, you're the best of the best. You gotta
earn your title shot. I get what you're saying. Mina, they could have definitely built something there because she is friends with Timeless Tony Storm, so they could have built something. I will agree. But we do have a couple more matches, and I do want to get into WrestlePalooza, so here we go. Moving on, we do have our Fatal 4-Way ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and this was definitely a hard-hitting match. Look at that, Speedball Mike Bailey and Josh Alexander, two TNA guys, wrestling in front of thousands of people, getting an opportunity. You love to see it. There's Kevin Knight going through the tables. He took a pretty bad fall. And then Bandito with the freaking moonsault. And still tag team champions, Bandito and Brody King. I've been enjoying this team, even though it's one of those mix, random tag teams. It's been pretty fun to watch them. And I honestly can't wait to see what they do with Buddy Matthews in this, but I know that's another topic for another day. But the big thing that everybody's talking about here, and I do want to hear your guys' thoughts on it, Jack Perry making his return, flipping off the Young Bucks. We saw this coming. We talked about it in the We Are Wrestling Podcast Extra because of the BTE clip. And we got the reunion of Jurassic Express hugging it out. Luchasaurus, Kill Switch, no more. And they had the freaking music playing, and the crowd loved it. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I love the match. Like you said, it did look like Kevin Knight, took a bad fall or whatever. When you're falling from that height, bro, you do not want to extend your arm that way to fucking break your fall. You want to go as flat as you can on your back. You know what I mean? Because they can just end badly. Broken arm, fucking broken wrist, fingers, whatever the fuck. I like the match. I like what they did. There was one spot that I didn't really care for. And I think it was Brody King, and I can't remember who else. But it's the ladder spot where the ladder breaks. When the ladder broke, the ladder jumped up like it was a fucking like a bouncy trampoline ball. I know the ladders are real, but it kind of looked a little bit fake to me and cheesy, so I didn't really care for that. It was a good match. I feel like the Young Bucks should have won. I'm glad Brodito won, but I feel like the Young Bucks should have won, especially after what we saw with Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy reuniting, because that could have set up a tag team match at Wrestle Dream. You know what I mean? But now,
I think they're trying to build a long-term storyline here with the Young Bucks because they're slowly starting to get that greed again, and I think they're going to get lost in the shuffle. They're going to lose all that money they won, and then I think it's going to lead to something really, really big eventually.
Well, I mean,
but I also don't think Jurassic Express should go for the championships right away. I think we need to give it time.
But the thing is,
I would have Buddy Heel
if you wanted the Young, why are they
without Brody?
I understand why, Jungle Boy or whatever has an issue with the Young Bucks. But if you wanted Jungle Boy to return, I feel like it would have made a lot more sense to have Jungle Boy do a run in, the Young Bucks are both on each side of the ladder, and the Jungle Boy pushes them off, whatever, and then maybe on Wednesday or whatever, this coming Wednesday tonight, you could have had Jungle Boy cut a promo, and then that's when we see Luchasaurus. But the fact that the Young Bucks lost and yet you still have Jungle Boy bringing out Luchasaurus, which is, making them a tag team, going after the Young Bucks when the Young Bucks are not champion. They don't have, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are not going to get anything for beating them. Why is it that big of a deal?
Well, Jack Perry did say, this is for the next time you stabbed me in the back, gifted him a knife. And you have to think about it. Jack Perry disappeared. The Young Bucks forgot about him as soon as he was sidelined. So, he does have a reason to get his revenge back on Nick and Matt. And now I think bringing in Luchasaurus, this is going to be pretty interesting. And I think this is good for the AEW tag division.
I'm glad that they did
honestly,
it.
and I will say this, on stream, I was not a fan of it at first because I thought he should have cost them in the match. But then after thinking about it, rewatching it, I think they made the right decision here because they really gave because they gave Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, that moment. And the crowd loved it. And it was the biggest pop of the night. Easily.
I still
which
feel
is why
like
it's in our thumbnail.
I feel like it still would have been more eventful if the Young Bucks are going for the titles. Jack Perry does a run and push them off the ladder, and then fucking you get a good camera shot of him walking back up the ramp, whatever. Look what I just did, and then you have him, people wondering why are you back? What are your intentions?
Mm-hmm.
Comes out tonight on Dynamite, does a promo. That's where we introduce Luchasaurus back into the fold.
And I'm going to answer, and I'll answer this question, and then we'll get into our main event. Angelo, why does Luchasaurus care for revenge, though? Because Jungle Boy Jack Perry is his brother. That's why. You also got to look at
the fact that we had no conclusion to the Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne, Martha Wayne, Kip Sabian story. He just fucking didn't want to get tagged in. And then the next time we see him, he's coming out with Jack Perry. We didn't get no resolution to that.
And that's the thing. We still have an episode of Dynamite that we haven't watched yet. We don't know what's going to happen. But let's get into our main event here. And that is for the AEW World Championship, the Protostar, Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Adam Page. And my God, what a classic.
This match went 40 minutes.
40-minute match.
Wow.
Classic. Bryan Danielson and Don Callis going back and forth on commentary. Loved it. And man, this was just a great match. I got a lot of heat. I was going back and forth with a lot of JD from New York fans about this match. And surprisingly, I did have a lot of pretty good takes that people were agreeing with me on. But man, Fletcher looked really good here. And Hangman Adam Page ended up winning and retaining the AEW World Championship. And I want to give my thoughts on this first before we discuss, because I know you're going to have an opinion that's probably different than mine. I think they did the job here. They killed this match. My opinion, this was 5-star. And I think the goal for this match, and the reason why it went 40 minutes, was to prove that Kyle Fletcher is a main event caliber star. And I think that he went out there and he did that. And that's why, my hat goes off to him. He looked so good in this match. And there's people that were questioning. I know JD from New York was asking, why did this match have to be 40 minutes when we knew he was the loser? And I responded, and I pretty much said the reason they made this a 40-minute match was because they wanted to prove that Kyle Fletcher is a main event guy by going against one of the best, Hangman Adam Page. And that is what they did. And that's the thing that I think WWE should take note from AEW. And this is why AEW is good at establishing their own superstars, because they're not afraid to throw them into the ocean with the sharks. And that's exactly what they did with Kyle Fletcher. And he didn't fold under pressure. He actually, I think, looked so much better out of this match than he was going into it. And I think that if WWE can give guys like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, some of these guys that are just, they can grab that brass ring, they can main event WrestleManias, they can carry the WWE for the next 5 to 10 years. If they could just throw them into the pack of wolves, I think that they would come out alive. And I think WWE needs to start taking risk again. because I think AEW, they do a really good job at doing that. And I think Fletcher, he looks so much better out of this.
The thing with me, like, he looks a little bit better, but like, I was calling him a main eventer before this match even happened, you know? And I feel like, yes, he lost. We all knew Hangman was going to retain,
but he looks so good.
I feel like the main story is him losing and what the follow-up is going to be. That's what we need to concentrate on.
Yes, Daddy.
Like, what is Kyle Fletcher going to be doing moving forward, and how is he going to get himself back in that same position to potentially take
that confidence? Exactly. And it's a mental game.
I don't have confidence in Tony Khan that there's going to be a very good follow-up.
I don't think he's going to be losing that TNT belt for a while, though.
I don't think so either. I feel like he is a main event guy. I've been saying this since Kyle Fletcher turned on.
Oh, ever since he buzzed the hair, I said it.
Since he buzzed the hair, he's a main event guy. You know what I mean? But it's all about he lost to Hangman. So what's the follow-up going to be? How is he going to get himself back in that same position to challenge for the world title again?
Because here's also here's another thing I pointed out too, because JD did say, like, in his post, that he pretty much saw this match afterwards because he tuned into WrestlePalooza, watched the John Cena and Brock Lesnar match that we are going to get into in just a moment. And Dan Eddy's going to have a lot to say, like, throughout the WrestlePalooza.
I'm letting you guys cover that because I missed a good portion of the show, so I'll let you guys handle that.
Here's another thing I mentioned to him, because he said that why was it 40 minutes when we knew he was going to be the loser? And I said, the reason why you probably didn't enjoy it like somebody like myself who actually sat and watched the full 40-minute match is because watching something live, you have a whole different perception on it. And I was going back and forth with a lot of people on X because of that statement. And you have said it so many times on the podcast, Danny, where like you can't get behind like a pre-taped thing because guess what? It's already predetermined. We already knew what's going to happen because of this magical thing, social media. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, I can't watch a show if it's pre-taped. Like,
and
WWE,
that's the thing.
AEW,
The 40-minute match, Kyle Fletcher at a couple points in that match convinced me that, my God, they actually might really give this dude the championship. Even though like we knew the outcome was going to be Hangman retaining, there was a part of me that felt, dude, they really might actually do this because like they did such good storytelling in that ring, and that tells you how talented Fletcher really is. And I think a lot of people now know that he is a main event guy. You and I, we have a lot of stock in him. And I think now his stock has risen to where like we invested when it was a little bit lower, but now people are like going to be investing with it being higher. And he's going to be somebody to carry AEW for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm telling you that right now.
Angelo, it's not about already knowing. Like, I can watch a WWE show at any point in time, like going forward, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, whatever. And 98% of the time, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen and who's going to win. You know, when you start watching and analyzing, like being on a podcast or whatever, like we're not only as fans watching the show, but we're analyzing everything that's happening because we have to talk about it. Yeah. But it's all about the story going into it and what's the follow-up going to be for the eventual loss. Like, we knew Hangman wasn't going to lose the title after beating Moxley at All In. You know, that was a big monumental moment that he wasn't going to lose the title 2 months later. Like, give me a break. So
he almost died.
Kyle Fletcher was never gonna win the title at All Out. But it's all gonna be about the follow-up. Like, where do we go next? How is he gonna showcase himself to get himself back in that same spot where he can eventually win at some point? So it's not about already knowing what's gonna happen.
That's why I always get like the egg when people say wrestling is fake, because I mean, to an extent, yeah, it's planned.
It's predetermined. It's not fake.
It's planned. It's predetermined. And it's entertaining. That's why we tune in all the time, because we want to know what's going to happen. That's why it's called entertainment. And it's also wrestling. So it's in like an action movie put into like a 2-hour show. So
exactly. And what does a movie have? Like, why do we get invested into a movie?
Drama, storylines, actors.
Thank you. That's
Exactly.
This is why I say about it. I talk about it all the time. Story is key. You gotta have story going into these matches, because if you don't, it's a predetermined match. People are gonna forget about it 20 minutes after the match fucking happens. This is not UFC. This is not boxing, to where all you need to do is see these dudes fight, and whoever wins, it's fucking awesome. You need story in pro wrestling to get the audience invested in what is happening.
Agree. But here's the thing. Like, AEW has this perception where they don't ever do stories. And I think that that's not the case here, because I did mention throughout this entire show which matches did have the storylines. And this show did have more than it normally does. So
More than
hopefully,
normal, yes,
hold
I
on
will
a
say
minute.
that.
Hopefully, moving forward, every match can have that matter, because the storylines are very important. I agree with that a lot.
Yeah.
And his loss will make him stronger. Absolutely, Omar. Absolutely. Yep. All right, well, I think now it is time. This is going to be one of our longer episodes. Whew. All right, well, let's get into
That's
WWE.
how it always is when I'm here, bro. We just talk.
Well, it's also an AEW PLE
I am
that has
hopeful
10,
of
12
TK.
fucking 20
It
matches.
is. But I think what we're going to do, Dan Eddy, we're going to figure it out probably after this, but like the Wrestle Dream, I don't know when the date is, but I am going to figure out a way for you to watch it, because I think you being on a watch along with me, I think it would be kind of cool to like get you to watch like a full AEW pay-per-view and really get to hear your opinion. Yes. Because I would love to hear like your thoughts on like watching a whole pay-per-view, because hearing it like 5 hours,
October 18th,
2025.
I'm going to be so annoying. Be like, what's that guy doing? Who's that guy? What is he doing? I'm going to be like a little kid in the movie.
But that's where that's where I'm here for you. And that's where We Are Wrestling Maniacs are here for you.
Yeah, it's taking place on Saturday, October 18th, 2025 in St. Louis, Missouri. So Saturday, October 18th.
I think it would be very interesting to hear. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. But now, with that being said, let's get into the WWE WrestlePalooza review. And this is where Danny, you can sit at the bottom.
Yeah, bottom, bitch.
All right. Well, with the review here, Dan Eddy, I'm going to let you start this off with the opening match, because I really wasn't there. And I know you weren't.
I wasn't either. Rage was Rage was holding down the fort for the Brock Lesnar and Cena match.
He really was.
But I did see
you can not watch the match and still know exactly what happened move for move, because every Brock Lesnar match is the fucking same.
It's true. Come out, F5. Okay, I'm done. Pay me. Yeah, so this match didn't make sense to me at all, because they didn't really build up this match until like a week or so before, when Cody Rhodes like returned. Now, granted, he was filming for that movie. I forget the name of it, Street Fighter. But again, like it was that quick of a match where he just squashes Cena for no apparent reason. I mean, maybe there is a reason, who knows? But
there's no reason.
One of Cena's last like overall WWE appearances in a PLE, for that matter, just gets squashed. Is the first match of the night. Like that was a slap in the face to begin with. 2, I don't know how long the match was going on. I can
9 minutes.
9 minutes. So it was basically okay, cool. I left that match thinking, what the fuck just happened? It was one of those matches like just did not make sense to me. It was weird.
Dude,
the fact that it was 2 big names going after each other, that was trying to like show the appeal, like, oh my god, we have this ESPN PLE. People need to tune in. It's the first match of the night, even. Hoorah!
I thought they were really setting up something big here. Yo, Donnie, will you be at Big Event New York? Yes, I will.
Too. Nothing else happened afterwards. He F5'd the referee. He F5 Cena again and left. The greatest thing that happened was Paul Heyman introducing him again, like he was his advocate again.
No, but here's what pissed me off about this. Because if you watch Friday Night SmackDown the last couple weeks leading up to WrestlePalooza, they were showing the entire history of John Cena and Brock Lesnar, going all the way back to OVW, going all the way back to their multiple rivalries that they've had throughout their first-class Hall of Fame careers. And the problem with this is they took so many steps back. Like, what are we going back to SummerSlam 2000? I think it was 2015, where Brock Lesnar friggin' suplexed John Cena 35 times and then ended up winning, squashing him.
Yeah.
Like John Cena, you would think this is his farewell tour. He needs to overcome the beast, Brock Lesnar. And they've had so many better matches. This is their worst match that they've ever had against each other. I'm sure them sparring against each other at OVW when they had no experience in professional wrestling was better than the fucking bullshit that we got on WrestlePalooza.
Now, a funny stat that I found.
What a waste of time. You had John Cena doing these freaking Super Cena matches. He had Cody and John, 5-star classic. Him and Sammy on SmackDown for the U.S. title was good. Why did we have to waste this? Because, man, watching their match, I remember Extreme Rules 2012. Oh my God, what a match. Like, you're telling me that they couldn't do more than what they gave us there.
Yeah,
we saw Cena freaking pulling style clashes in his farewell matches. It pisses me off so much that we really wasted a John Cena match here. Because him and Brock, they could have gone 20 minutes, really, without a squash being involved.
Like what you were saying about that one match in the AEW, it just felt rushed.
And now everybody thinks that his retirement tour is trash because of it.
Yeah. So I found the stat where Brock Lesnar holds a 4-2 record against John Cena. I'm not sure if that counts WrestlePalooza. So maybe it's 5-2.
Probably 5-2.
I have now seen John Cena just get squashed by Brock Lesnar in 3 different decades.
Yeah,
like, that's mind baffling.
But that is mind baffling. Because it doesn't make sense. Like,
between 2002 and 2025, John Cena has won Extreme Rules 2012 and Night of Champions in 2014 via disqualification. But still,
via disqualification, that's not even a win.
Well, so that's it's like 6-1.
You got to think Brock Lesnar from I think 2003 to like 2012. Brock Lesnar wasn't even in the company. So.
Well, no, he wasn't in the company from 2004 to.
I'm going off of what the matches they had together were.
Even in Springfield, John Cena didn't even get a match.
The time range is like from 2002
I knew
to
they
2025.
I knew he wasn't going to wrestle in Springfield.
I knew he wasn't going to either because God forbid he got injured fucking the last Raw before WrestlePalooza.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
There's a lot of history. There's a lot of history between the two. Don't get me wrong, but they could have done a whole.
They could have done something. The story was there.
Yeah,
and honestly, after seeing what happened, 9 minutes, seeing all the negative feedback on this match, it made my decision because I was so mad that the Hangman and Fletcher match was going on for so long because I thought that Cena and Lesnar were going to put on a 5-star classic because of what we've been getting with John Cena since going back to being a babyface.
And that's what I was saying before.
And I'm glad I sat and watched the 40 minutes of AEW All Out.
Going at it against each other to help people tune
Triple
in
fraud.
New PLE on ESPN.
I wish I had water right now because I would spit it right on my fucking
That was the biggest reason that they had this match, I feel.
I will say, and like, people don't have to look at it this way, but I do. And I've even told you, Donnie, like how I feel about the whole Triple H thing. I don't feel like he can do whatever he wants as far as like storylines. Like he has to get permission from Ari Emanuel and like there's so many people above him.
He has to go through somebody else to go through somebody else to go through somebody else because that's all this whole TKO bullshit is.
Exactly. So like you can't say that this was 100%
triple fraud.
Triple H's fault.
But the problem is that but here's the thing, Triple H used to have a pair of balls back in the day. Time to play the fucking game.
That was when his father-in-law was in charge. Now he says
maybe you should check Stephanie's first.
Did he get his fucking nuts chopped off or something? Did Kai and Tai freaking chop PP or something with Triple H? Because what the fuck has happened with him?
I want to
his nose is getting bigger.
Apparently, according to Randy Orton,
he's a fraud.
I want to bring this up.
He's okay with he's okay with, and that's the thing. He's okay with taking the blame because he continues to just take the blame. He continues to bend over for these freaking people that are higher ups than him. So honestly, I don't feel bad at all calling him triple fraud.
I want to bring this up for discussion purposes so we can all have a discussion about it.
Okay.
So what happened later on in the match, and later on in the show, we can talk about it because it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Undertaker announcing Stephanie McMahon for the 2026 Hall of Fame class. JD brought this up in discussion. It kind of does make you think, like, why are they so quick to want to get Stephanie in to the Hall of Fame? They have never announced a Hall of Fame inductee this early. You know what I mean? What if Triple H and Stephanie both know that their time in WWE is almost up, so they want to be in? They want to both be in the Hall of Fame before that comes. You know what I mean? And now with it being announced, it's not like TKO can be like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah,
that's something you gotta think about.
I will say, I think once Triple H's contract is up, whatever it is, we don't know the details of it, but once it's up, I think Triple H is going to just hang up the dress shoes, and I think that him and Stephanie are going to ride out in the sunset. As they should.
Either that or Ari Emanuel is going to fucking, give him the boot because he's going to see all the negative press. And obviously Triple H is head of creative. Even though he doesn't get the final say, he's head of creative. So his name is on the marquee. So everybody automatically points the blame at him. That's going to give Ari Emanuel and TKO cause to be like, yeah, you're not doing that good of a job. Get the fuck out.
And I think honestly, maybe at this point, Triple H probably wants to get the fuck out, but who knows?
I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. It's a very good discussion to have because it's a little weird to me.
I want to know how you feel about it, Dan.
I didn't think of that until Danny just brought that up.
Yeah, no,
it seemed a little early on for them to announce the next year's class of the Hall of Fame because I feel like they just got they got done with this year's Hall of Fame class.
Well, usually they announce, because that's the weird thing. They usually announce it like after Royal Rumble. Well, it's usually after Royal Rumble when we get into WrestleMania season. That's when we start getting the announcement.
Even their first announcement is around that time?
Yeah, usually like around WrestleMania season. So all the time
it's
like
the
after
first time
Royal Rumble,
anybody has ever been announced.
Fourth Chamber.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I do like that they did catch Stephanie off guard because you could definitely tell she had no idea.
Yeah, that part I cried.
That must have been a Triple H Undertaker. That must have been a Triple H Undertaker and Nick Khan idea. You could definitely.
I teared up at that time because
Stephanie had no clue. And it was
that Stephanie and Stephanie Bakir carried the show, in my honest opinion.
I can't wait to get into that. And yeah, I am done talking about Lesnar and Cena at this point because it really upsets me. At least Crown Jewel.
I did not notice at all.
At least at Crown Jewel, we're getting John Cena and AJ Styles. It doesn't even need a build up with how good it is, so they're gonna make up for this bullshit.
But it's also going to be at 7 a.m.
Yep, which I don't think I'll be live for it. I think Rage said he might do a live watch along here.
I think me and Rage will probably be there.
Yeah, because I know that weekend. Yeah, because Danny and I have House of Glory, so yeah, there's no way I'm getting up at 7 in the morning for Crown Jewel.
Yeah, we're going to House of Glory that Friday night, so I won't be live for SmackDown, and then I'm probably just gonna pull an all-nighter and watch the show, and then after Crown Jewel, fucking go to sleep.
So you see here, I would do that, but Blitzkrieg Pro is happening that Saturday night. I don't know how Rage is going to do it, but I am definitely need some sleep because then
probably take a nap
after Blitzkrieg Sunday, myself and Jungle Boy Jordan are going to TNA Bound for Glory, which is like an hour from here. So it's going to be like a long wrestling weekend for me. So I am not watching Crown Jewel live, but I think you and Rage will probably end up doing it most likely. We'll figure that stuff off camera. But let's move on to the next match here. I'll take this one away. We had a tag team match with the special guest referee, LA Knight. Yeah. We had Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus the Usos. And I thought I was going to be more excited about this match, but honestly, it just felt like a Monday Night Raw main event. That's it for me.
Kind of. Yeah.
And it's disappointing because, dude, Braun Breaker, they should be doing something with him. I feel like him and Bronson Reed, like, at least give them the tag titles if you're going to have them team.
He should be champion at this point.
Man, Breaker should be friggin' main eventing, but that's just me. But I think they're going to build something towards it. I have hope. But there was some more tension here with Jey Uso and LA Knight. which we have been seeing for weeks. And it does seem like a lot of people are not interested in this at all. And I think they're really just setting up for failure here because you have two guys that are so over when it comes to catchphrases. And then like, you're pretty much like telling the crowd, like you have to choose one. And I don't think that's a good idea, but Jay Uso did get busted open when he threw a chair, pretty much hit him right in the back of the head. So they kind of had to call an audible, end the match. And the winners were Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
B&B. Yeah. That sort of thing.
Yeah. With Braun Breaker, I am giving it time, Angelo. I am.
You can't really plan that. If that sort of thing happens, then you just kind of have to call an audible, go plan B. With the whole Jay and LA Knight feud, I feel like this is going to, I was going to say penetrate, but that's not the right. Accelerate. Be a catalyst to like jump shoot. I don't know what the word. I'm lost at it.
Don't let Triple Frog cook.
Help LA Knight the most is what I'm trying to say, because he's in the right. If you think about it, he's teaming with the Usos before, but then if you think about it, he pointed it out like directly in that backstage promo where it was like it was Jimmy's fault that he does not have the title. It was Jay's fault that he lost the heavyweight title. So
hey, every heel in Triple H's era of WWE has a reason behind it, and maybe that's what they're leading towards.
So I feel like they have plans for LA Knight after the Braun Browns and Jey Uso.
Braun.
The
Braun.
That's a good nickname. I like that.
Whether they turn Jey Uso heel or not, we don't know. But yeah, they have something planned for LA Knight, I feel like.
But now, before we get into our next match, Dan Eddy, if Rage was here, I would have him do the same thing. But I think I deserve to be acknowledged here because I have been saying this. Hold on a minute. I've been saying this about the Io Sky versus Stephanie Valkyrie match, that it was going to steal the show for WWE WrestlePalooza. I said it was going to be match of the night, and you and Rage were questioning me at first when I said that because you guys thought with like the mixed tag match and Brock and John that like the card was too stacked for them to have the match of the night. So I think I deserve a little bit of appreciation for that take.
I don't remember you saying that, but that'd be something you would say. So yeah, how
can't guard me. What's up? But I'll let you take this away though with the match because I know you did enjoy this one just as much as
I did.
Everybody else, including myself.
I did, and for many reasons, not just the one people we keep thinking of.
Oh, don't worry, I have that graphic.
Oh, you do? Oh, you do? Oh, yeah.
There it is!
Yeah. Yeah. We got to keep Rage here in spirit.
Rage would have loved that. He would have been crying right now.
He's Myth in Your Crib podcast. This was my favorite match of the night. So, Donnie, you were right on that one.
No, I didn't say this was going to be the main event. I said this was going to be match of the night. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, you were right on this one, like being the match of the night. This was my favorite match, too. And not just for that reason. But if you think about it, their wrestling styles.
Can I just say, real quick, before we continue, every single fan in Springfield at the Monday Night Raw show, I don't know if you guys caught this on Netflix, but after she did the move, everybody was like, one more time.
I think I did catch that, yeah.
It was loud. It was a loud chant, too. All right, I'll let you continue.
She's so freaking over, dude. I think their wrestling styles complement each other so well.
And Tyrus is a hot take, man. I think you guys got to acknowledge.
Ooh, it was an amazing indie match in WWE TV. Oh, give me a break. This was a fucking classic, Tyrus. You kidding me? Oh, this was one of their
WWE
Tyrus
match.
getting that go away heat, man.
So good. So good.
This,
there's going to be no slander on this match.
This picture explains the entire match. There were two high flyers with strong capabilities that are just like a couple powerhouses of their own. Stephanie Valkyrie is the more
image.
Oh, okay.
And Stephanie Valkyrie ended up winning the world championship at the end of this.
And well deserved. It was overdue, to be honest. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do with the belt. And like this whole match to begin with, Io Sky was a great opponent to have. Like now, granted, would Stephanie Valkyrie versus Naomi would have been a better match? We'll never know, but
It'll happen eventually.
it'll happen eventually. Yeah. So we'll see.
I'm really
about
looking forward
that,
to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Stephanie Valkyrie does with Tiffany Stratton. I think that's gonna be a good match.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
I didn't
think
even think
facing in
about
Crown
that.
Jewel.
Because don't forget, we have champion versus champion at Crown Jewel.
Oh yeah, to like crown like the
Or
Yep.
So we're
will it
having
be
Cody
Jade
and Seth,
Cargill
and then
versus Stephanie Valkyrie?
Jade Cargill's not beating fucking.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah,
You
they're
don't
probably
know.
no. Danny, knowing how bad WrestlePalooza was, they're probably going to give her the championship, even though she has been improving. She's not world championship material yet.
Let me just
They're
say,
gonna
you
give
guys
it
have
to
been
her.
saying she's improving for like 3 months now.
Okay, but here's the thing, Dan Eddy. It doesn't happen overnight. If you want to be a world champion,
No,
it doesn't happen overnight. You gotta wait a while. You gotta wait your turn. All right. It's like going to the registry, going to get your freaking driver's permit or getting something. You have to wait your turn to take the test. And right now, Jade Cargill, I'm sorry, she's got to wait her turn. There's plenty of damn people
NFL,
ready.
can I play quarterback this Sunday?
You got to wait your turn. You got a long way to go when it comes to the NFL, which, by the
No,
way,
I
fuck
understand
the
that.
Rams
No,
and fuck
I
your
was just giving
Packers.
you guys.
this last
I was just giving
Sunday.
you. Hey, whoa, okay, all
Oh,
right.
my God.
that
You guys
crossed
lost
the
to a
line.
field goal. My guy couldn't even kick the fucking ball into the goal.
You lost by a field goal too. Well,
We
okay,
both
no.
lost.
We lost
pretty much
half our
by-
audience, man. Shut the fuck up and talk about this.
We
match.
started it. Anyways,
I
yeah.
did start it. I'm sorry, guys.
It,
guys
it,
brought me
there,
on
I was just saying
fucking,
there's a triple
grown
threat
up,
match.
bro.
There's a triple threat match going on this Friday, so maybe I don't know. I would, if
Tiffany
I
better
were to
keep
call
going.
it, I would like to see Valkyrie versus the Tiffany Stratton.
Me
But do I
too.
want to see Jade Cargill hold the belt? Yes, because she has been improving. She has been
You
getting
see Jade
the.
Cargill in
heat.
AEW, bro. You want that should be your first
Well,
introduction
no,
to
no,
AEW.
no.
You saying Jade should go to
No,
AEW?
no. She was started in AEW, but she's
I
way
knew that.
Daddy. She is better in WWE than she was in AEW. We can admit that,
By very little.
right? She has improved.
Yeah,
That can't be denied.
It only took almost 2 years.
Anyway,
But here's the thing, Dan Eddy. You're jumping to conclusions. We need to start her off with the United States Championship and let her work her way to the World Championship. Patience. Julia, and they're not doing anything with her, which pisses me off because I freaking love her.
Yeah, that is
Calling
pretty good.
Stephanie's finishing move a spinal tap. There's a band named Spinal Tap. That's a
They
good
are
name.
fumbling the ball with that one with Julia and the title.
But man, I was so impressed with this match with Stephanie and Io. It was amazing. My favorite match of the night. And I even said it was going to be the best match on that WrestlePalooza card. And I think it's time that we opened up this discussion in the IWC, because I'm going to say this right now. I am not a fan of the WWE product as much as I want to be. And one of the 5 reasons I am still watching WWE, obviously because I have to, because I have a podcast talking about pro wrestling. But one of the big reasons why I still watch it is these women wrestlers. They are, to me, they're carrying the WWE right now. They really are. Go back into some of these big PLE matches this year and talk about it. Them triple threat matches for the Women's World Championships. Oh my God.
So
they've done
WrestleMania fucking was pretty much staged by a fucking female match. So yeah.
Yeah,
so
this
good.
match was the second longest match of the night. Now take out the mixed tag team match of AJ Lee and CM Punk with them. That was 29 minutes, but granted, that was going to be probably the longest one. But this one was the second longest with 19 minutes and 41 seconds.
So good. But we already have talked about the Stephanie McMahon a little bit earlier with the Hall of Fame. Danny opened up that discussion after the first
Well, I mean, because
match.
it had to do with, Triple H and his booking of the show and, Stephanie being his wife going in the Hall of Fame.
But hey, don't worry, Angela. We'll recap it in just a moment. But moving on to the next match here. I'll take this one away. For real. Yes, this is exactly what I thought when SpongeBob was freaking hanging.
Well, at first I thought of the
Bravo
purple ooze guy, from the Power Rangers movie. And then I thought of the Goofy
you know what I just realized, and I realized this the other day because I saw it on a thread on Facebook or whatever. The colors that Seth and how
I want to talk about this.
When AJ Lee came back, she talked about mental health and this and that.
Actually,
like how,
let me show the graphics.
How mental health is important, stuff like that. the colors that Seth and Becky are actually wearing in this match are for suicide prevention.
And then AJ and CM Punk, they're wearing their gear for the LG community.
I'm just thinking how his jacket says AJ's husband. I love it.
Did you guys catch something that happened on Monday? Guess who was
No.
wearing that jacket on Monday?
Yep, Bailey. Bailey was. But yeah, so getting into this match here, a lot of people did enjoy this. It was one of those like fun, like old school mixed tag matches, and the storyline has been there. But obviously, I think like a lot of people were expecting more, even though I think we all should have been expecting less, because AJ Lee, she's been away from the ring for over 10 years, and I think we put too much pressure on her. I think that the more she gets in the ring, like CM Punk, we've seen it, because at first he was a little rusty when he came back. She's gonna get back into it, but you got to give her the benefit of the doubt. It's gonna take time. But overall, like there were some cool spots here throughout the match. AJ Lee finally getting back in the ring for the first time in 10 years. Definitely a highlight for a lot of people because AJ Lee was around before the women's revolution was a thing. And just a fun match. I think they could have definitely picked up the speed here a little bit. I think it was too slow of a match, which is why I think a lot of people were just like,
in the beginning, yeah.
But it did pick up throughout the show. And CM Punk and AJ Lee won.
Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a big, deep hidden message in this match that until now probably people weren't even thinking about. But the fact that Becky and Seth were wearing suicide prevention colors or whatever. Obviously, CM Punk and AJ were for the LGBTQ beat the hell out of cancer or beat the hell out of suicide. There's a deep hidden message within this match that I didn't even pick up until now.
What's the message?
It means you can fight against adversity, and a lot of LGBTQ kids and teens or whatever, they don't feel like they're heard enough, and it ends up leading to suicide. And
Gotcha.
With AJ and Punk, fighting for LGBTQ in the match, they beat the hell out of the people that
kicking
were
suicide's ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's wow. That is a really, I didn't even think about it like that. Good take, Danny. That's really good take. I'm impressed. I didn't think you had that in you. But I did say AJ Lee was going to be the one to tap out or pin Becky, because I think that that's going to lead to her getting an Intercontinental title match. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens now with the CM Punk and Seth feud, because I think it is far from over. But hopefully they continue to pick up right where they left off.
Yeah.
And now, Dan Eddy, I'm going to let you take it away with the main event.
All right. So the main event after Stephanie McMahon's inauguration.
Oh, which, by the way, once again, congratulations to Stephanie McMahon on getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes,
well deserved.
Congrats. Yes, I did tear up. That was because it was well deserved. Like it was overdue, actually, to be honest. And now there's push of Shane McMahon being put in the Hall of Fame, which
next year the year after 2027.
2027.
He could lead Saudi WrestleMania Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly. So the main event was Cody Rhodes.
I have a prediction real quick, since we're talking about the Hall of Fame in a way. I feel like literally after John Cena's last match, I feel like they announced that he's going to be the next inductee into the Hall of Fame.
I can see that happening.
I'm calling it now. I'm predicting.
All right. I'll give you that. You said it.
So the main event was Drew McIntyre versus the champion Cody Rhodes. And all in all, this match to me was unpredictable, because you could see Drew finally having a title reign, Cody Rhodes being the face of the company, keeping the title, and there were some great spots that Donnie is, slide showing right now.
Figure 4.
Woo! Figure 4. They were trying to get Drew to make this great spot, with the table, like how he did on the episode of SmackDown one night. And I still don't. Why were they why was the ref like calling Drew off, like making him hesitate on doing it? Was there a reason behind that?
I don't know. I feel like every Cody Rhodes match, like you always get the false pin from somebody. Like I'm noticing a reoccurring thing with every Cody match. I don't know who produces them backstage. Probably Bruce Pritchard or
it was awkward because I can actually put that up here. It was awkward because there was times where Cody Rhodes was selling a knee injury, but then it didn't seem to affect him later on in the match. So,
yeah, it's always
he
it's always
did.
something with
He
psychological.
did do a super Cody cutter from the top rope. Which was really cool. That was one of my favorite spots, along with the Drew kicking in the announce table. So, but
and then what was the outcome, Dan Eddy?
Cody Rhodes wins. Whoa! Which I can agree with, but also disagree if people have a good opinion on it.
Did you guys hear what originally was supposed to happen?
Share it. I already know, but please share it.
So the original plan for this match was.
This makes me so much more mad, Dan.
Randy Orton was scheduled to come out. I don't know why it was changed, but earlier in the afternoon, this is how it was going to go down. Randy Orton was going to come out and help Cody, and he was going to inadvertently cost Cody the championship, which is gonna in turn lead to a feud with Cody and Randy down the line or whatever, and it would have given McIntyre a chance with the WWE title in front of a fucking audience instead of just the gymnasium. And for whatever reason, it was changed last minute. So,
real quick, hello cards. Penta is not a jobber at this point. He just won a match.
They had one of the best matches on Raw with the fucking War Raiders and fucking New Day and Waller. That match was fun.
Yeah. He's not a jobber, bro. Anyways,
yeah, that's
sorry,
crazy.
Tim.
But wait, I just want to say this about the Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre match because I don't really have a lot to say about this. Man, the match was good, but the problem here was Triple H saying there was going to be a big surprise, and even hearing about the Randy Orton thing, they should have done it. Because that's the problem here. Like the title run has just become very, very stale. And it's unfortunate. Like how many more times are we going to put Drew McIntyre up for a world championship just for him to lose?
You were saying
I feel like Triple H wanted to do it, and last minute, somebody higher up was like, no, we're not doing that. Because they know how much merch Cody sells. They know how much publicity
he's
Cody
popular
brings.
with kids. And let me tell you, going to Monday Night Raw, WWE's demographic is still the number one thing is kids.
Yep.
And that's why even Meadow, like going to her first show, my fiance, she preferred the AEW show over the WWE one because of the edgier side of it. Because it felt like it was just very PG, It felt like filters were like on these superstars.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like the match was good, but like there was nothing special. Like The Rock should have been involved here. I know some people are like, because he's not committed or whatever, but like he has a story there with Drew and Cody. Like if he was committed, but he's not. But they should have done the thing with Randy. That's a missed opportunity.
My biggest knock with this match and the whole PLE to begin with, this match with Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre seemed like a Monday Night Raw main event, not a PLE main event.
Yes.
And that is why they got a grade of a C, which I disagree. It should have been like a D or D minus to be quite honest. Because after the Stephanie's happened, nothing else was exciting. Like I was saying earlier, they were trying to get a lot of people to sign up for the new PLE and the ESPN deal. First new PLE, people signing up, money coming in, big names, quote unquote, big matches. Triple H quoting big surprises, flat. Nothing happened.
There was and that's the thing. And the last thing I'm going to say, because we do still have a lot of things to cover here. The last thing I want to say here is, you guys are supposed to convince me to pay $30 a month for this. Like, I understand you get other things, but like a lot of pro wrestling fans aren't sport fans. So a lot of these people are subscribing to ESPN Unlimited for these WWE PLEs. And pretty much what you're doing, like in this show, proved to me that, wow, I made the right decision to go get a VPN to watch this show. And that should not be the mindset here for WWE. Their mindset should be, friggin', all right, like, we need to put on the best show possible. We need to kick AEW All Out's ass, and we need to convince our WWE universe that you are getting $30 worth every month for these premium live events.
Yeah.
Well, Hollow Cards, that was on you for the $25 to watch it.
I paid $25 to watch at the theater to see the hype, and I was disappointed besides the EO and Valkyrie.
Yeah. I mean, granted, the
Same
bigger
here.
screen is cool.
That's how I felt throughout.
Nice
A lot of people were upset too because like a lot of people were under the impression that with your cable provider you would have been able to have access to the ESPN app.
Yeah, I tried that
until
first.
the week of.
Because WWE originally announced that the first PLE on the ESPN app was going to be WrestleMania 42. They ended up pushing it up to this show being, you know, the start of it all or whatever. A lot of cable providers didn't sign the contract in time, so they weren't able to. So a lot of people were like, you know, they tried to sign in. It was like, you need to subscribe to ESPN. It's like, well, I have ESPN.
Yeah, because
cable provider.
WWE
Why
is
the
being
fuck can't
petty
I
and they're
watch the
trying to
show?
counter program AEW.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between the ESPN Unlimited and buying the bundle with ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus?
Yeah, you
Like,
pretty
you
much
get
just
the
get
same
2
thing?
extra. Yeah, you get the same thing, except you do get the Disney Plus, and then you do get whatever the other thing is.
So I could have
But I
bought that
cannot-
bundle and still watched the PLE?
You can
Or is
still watch
ESPN
the
Unlimited different?
I think you get ESPN Unlimited a part of that deal because ESPN Plus is, I think, unlimited.
I
don't
can't do
fucking
that
know.
because I would have to get rid of to HBO Max, and obviously with AEW being on there, and you know The Last of Us, there's a bunch of stuff on there that I typically watch whenever I can. I can't get rid of it, so I can't get the bundle deal with ESPN. So I'm probably just gonna say fucking get a VPN like you. I'm gonna be smart about the situation.
Hey,
$100
work
for the entire year.
smarter, not
I
harder.
ended up doing,
That's the
I ended up
lesson
doing
for
a
this
free
week's episode.
trial. Do a free trial on Fubo TV.
Which,
That's what I
by the
did.
way, we're almost 2.5 hours into this episode, and we have
Whoop, whoop.
18 total people here live on X, live on YouTube. So we do appreciate all you guys. If you're not subscribed
That's
to the We Are
fucking
Wrestling YouTube
dedication,
channel,
man, to listen
subscribe.
to us chuds.
Seriously. And that's why I'm telling you boys now, because we still have 2 TV recaps. We still have 4 news getting put
We
over
might
in the
have
main
to do
event.
an extra, bro.
We already said the lineup. We're gonna fly through this. We're gonna give we're each gonna give our thoughts on it, and we're gonna move forward.
Hollow
All right?
cards. Even if you don't subscribe to ESPN, you better subscribe over here to We Are Wrestling because we'll keep you in the loop.
Yep,
That's
we'll
me,
give you the
our
scoop and
tagline.
keep you in the loop.
If
Take
you
that
don't want to
from
subscribe to
Killer
ESPN,
Keemstar.
subscribe to us. We're the next best thing.
All right,
We're
well,
free.
let's get into our We Are Wrestling podcast weekly TV recap. And starting things off, Asuka this past Monday has officially turned heel, and Kairi Sane has joined her. What's your thoughts on the heel turn?
Let me just say, I'm throwing it out there. Rhea Ripley as Gamora for Guardians of the Galaxy 4. That's just saying.
Hell
She
yeah.
looks good in blue. She looks good in blue. The Asuka heel turn, I think, was inevitable, and it kind of puts Io Sky in a weird position because she's also friends with Rhea Ripley. So I think it's a great move on WWE Creative's part because Asuka at the time, she came back as part of the Kabuki Warriors. This sets her. I feel like she's a better singles competitor than a tag team partner. So this way, she's turning heel. She's, being pushed as a singles person, but she's still hanging out with Kairi Sane. I think this was a better idea than just bringing her back as part of the Kabuki Warriors for that one tag team match championship, like forever ago. And people aren't talking about it anymore, but they are talking about Asuka as a heel now. That's the main thing.
I like this. I like this heel turn for her. I think she always worked better as a heel. Or going back to NXT Asuka, which obviously can't happen because that was 10 years ago. Things evolve, things change. And honestly, right now, her being a heel, that's the right move. And I think that this is going to lead to a bigger program with Rhea Ripley. And it doesn't even need to have a championship involved. And then I think it's also going to lead to her and Io having something. And I think that that's going to be a really good match when we
Real
get that.
quick, Danny, before you say your opinion. This can all like really lead up to a big match for Survivor Series. Like it could be Rhea and Io versus
War Games.
Asuka and Kairi Sane. Yeah, War Games. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
I liked it. Like you knew it was gonna happen, bro. Like just the way Asuka's been acting, and Kairi Sane acting fucking petrified. It's only a matter of time before Kyrie tells Asuka to go screw herself.
And that's going to be a big pop when we get that. But I think like it's going to give us. They're going to be patient with it.
I kind of agree with what Hollow Cards has to say. Obviously, I wasn't there in the audience.
Do you want to read it?
I don't know what the audience, like what it really legitimately was like being there in person. But I know how it came off on television, and I didn't really hear anybody popping for Asuka turning heel. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have a different, like, if you guys heard something different.
I didn't, no.
But I didn't hear any pop or anybody going crazy.
Because that's the thing, like, there's really no in-depth story here. And I think that, like, through time, more people will probably get invested in it. Because you know that they're going to build this up for weeks on television. Because that's one thing WWE does good with is storytelling. But right now, I think people are just like, it's about time this happened. All right, let's move on.
It's all like I was saying earlier when we were talking about All Out and Kyle Fletcher. It's all about the follow up. Like, what are they going to do next week to really get people invested in what's happening?
Yep. All right. Well, moving on now to our last We Are Wrestling TV recap. This past Tuesday on NXT, and I love that we're getting something that we get to talk about with NXT. TNA invaded NXT during the champion versus champion match with Obafemi and Trick Williams. I actually just uploaded my reaction to this before we went live. What's your thoughts on this TNA invasion?
I love it. I feel like it's awesome.
I liked it. I actually went live last night for NXT, and I usually don't do that except for like when they're out of the PC or PLEs or whatever.
Special occasions.
But I went live last night, and like when Obafemi was in the parking lot, like walking towards the building, I was like, I looked behind him and I was like, bro, is that Matt Cardona or am I going fucking crazy? And everybody in my chat was like, no, that was him. So
dude, they did a good job. They did a good job throughout the entire episode, planting the TNA guys, like all backstage, parking lot,
Warner, bro,
and then having them all out in the ring.
They were all like in the background, sort of like, like sneaking around the performance center and shit.
This has potential. That's all I'm going to say here. This has potential, and honestly, I can't wait to see what they do at Bound for Glory. I think we might get a bunch of NXT guys.
By the NXT roster.
And imagine them destroying the ring, destroying like the arena.
What if the NXT roster raises hell at Bound for Glory?
That's what I just said. Like Nexus.
It's a big move for TNA. It's like the TV deal before the TV deal.
Exactly. And I think that this is the best way to get TNA noticed and recognized, because NXT viewership right now is about like 700,000 people a week. So this is a good way to kind of hype up TNA a little bit, because I do have a feeling the TV deal is getting announced Bound for Glory weekend. That right there, that's just me speculating. That is not 100% confirmed by anybody. I think Bound for Glory, they are going to make a big announcement with a TV deal, because I just saw on Shop TNA this week, I think this was yesterday, their shirt saying, I'm Team TNA. And I have a feeling, because they're going to be going head-to-head with AEW on Wednesdays, that we're getting the TV deal announced.
But
that's just speculation.
And to think of how they finally had the TNA wrestlers invade NXT, when all this time they just been showcasing the TNA championship belt with Trick Williams. This has been a long time overdue. Like, they should have done this a while ago.
Well, that's why they wanted to invade, because they don't think the TNA guys don't think it's right that a TNA world title is being defended against somebody that's not a TNA performer.
Yeah.
So
the newer viewers who are just getting into NXT,
I will say, if
Trick Williams as TNA champion, they'll be like, what's TNA?
Ronaldo, Triple H. Look at all the shit emojis. It's covering Danny's face.
I'm getting shit on.
Oh, man.
Welcome back, Danny.
This is funny.
I will say, here's my prediction. You're predicting that Bound for Glory weekend that we get a TV deal announced. I think the deal is going to be with CW because it would make sense with the partnership with NXT to be on the same network. Yep. And it's going to be live Wednesday, 8:00, and it's going to go head to head with AEW Dynamite.
And it's on the CW. The people that are tuning in into the CW are watching NXT who have a bunch of TNA guys on there. And then that's a perfect way to advertise on NXT. Well, tomorrow night, we're going to the Impact Zone. There you go. TNA. I think we're on to something. I think we could all agree.
Yep. We're on to something, man.
All right. Well,
my only request is it better be live. It better not be no pre-tape shit.
I agree. It needs to be live. Agree. But now with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling Podcast, weekly news and rumors. Starting things off, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Gunther is expected to return to WWE programming shortly. Who should his first feud be against?
Brock Lesnar.
John Cena.
I'm going to go CM Punk because of the nose incident. I think that give CM Punk a world championship match against Seth Rollins and have Gunther cost him. And then there you go. Seth Rollins can focus on Cody for Crown Jewel, or you can even have the Punk versus Rollins match after that and then have Gunther cost them. And that way Seth Rollins can focus on somebody new while CM Punk has to focus on Gunther.
You're saying after all this hype for CM Punk to win the title, you put him in another title match and then just get his feet kicked up from underneath him once again.
Hell yeah. Gunther lost his world championship because he lost his title to Punk. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
I did forget about that.
Because for the first time ever, Gunther looked defeated. Like, legitimately. I'm not even counting.
The reason why I said Cena is because I think Cena said somewhere that he would like a match with Gunther before he leaves.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind that being his
opponent for all
I was going to say John Cena, but I don't know when he's going to return and how quick they can book that because John Cena only has like 4 appearances.
I feel like he returns this coming week, or at least very close to Crown Jewel.
Ooh, we got Angelo here. No, save Brock for Mania. That I agree. That's a Mania-worthy match. Tyra says Donnie's idea with CM Punk is tasty. Thank you, Tyrus.
What you could do is you could have Gunther feud with John Cena. That could be Cena's last match. And then closer towards WrestleMania, you can have Gunther feud with CM Punk, and CM Punk will face Gunther at WrestleMania. You could do
Would you rather have John Cena's last opponent be Gunther or AJ Styles?
Gunther, because AJ Styles
he's
going to be fighting him at Crown Jewel. So. Honestly, I'd rather Gunther because, like, I don't know. I kind of want somebody to get put over.
Or Dominic Mysterio.
Last match. Yeah, Dirty Dom and Cena. That's what I want. That's what I want. Final answer.
That's his last final match.
Championship. Keep the IC belt on Dirty Dom for that match because John Cena, the last championship he's never won, was the Intercontinental. So if Cena wins, you can vacate the belt, do a little tournament or whatever. Or if Dirty Dom beats him, it puts him over. And that is something that could maybe take Dirty Dom from the mid-card to possibly a world championship. But, yeah, Gunther, definitely, it's exciting to see what's going to happen. And I do think that him and CM Punk, it makes the most sense because he did lose his world belt from him.
It does make the most sense.
Cost him.
I would really like for them to figure out a way to stretch it out and have
into WrestleMania,
have a match at WrestleMania.
I get that. All right, well,
program for both of them.
All right, well, moving on now to some counter programming news. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the word is that WWE scheduling is in place and they won't be going head-to-head with the last 3 AEW pay-per-views of the year. At least that's the current word, and obviously that could change on a dime. So the 3 current PLEs that are left, we have WWE Crown Jewel, we have Survivor Series War Games, and we have Saturday Night Main Event. While AEW has Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, and World's End. How do we feel about WWE not counter-programming their final shows? But obviously, things could change. What are your thoughts on this?
I like it.
It's about time because they have been so petty with the all like lining up the PLAs with AEW in order to get the competition. So I personally agree with it.
Look, I love competition just as much as the next guy. But when you're a content creator and this is the kind of content that you make, doing watch alongs and stuff like that, like
it's frustrating.
You want to be able to consume everything. And with the AEW shows being so fucking long, I mean, we saw, for instance, WrestlePalooza, like, me and Donnie almost missed the first 2 matches of the show because of the main event for AEW All Out. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to be able to, like, concentrate on one show per day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, like, I want to add to that as well, because with AEW having All Out, like, yes, the pay-per-views are long, but, like, they shouldn't have to shorten it, because WWE decided to go head-to-head with them at the same time and trying to get people to not watch All Out and have them go watch WrestlePalooza. And it was just straight, it's petty. And at the end of the day, like, somebody who enjoys both shows, because I love the WWE, I love AEW, I love pro wrestling as a whole. I want to just enjoy one of them. Because guess what? If AEW All Out and WrestlePalooza were on at the same exact time, I would have to pick one or the other. And that's one less watch along I have with my We Are Wrestling Maniacs. And I hate that. Because because having 2 separate watch alongs, that's more time I get with my people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the counter programming. I hope it stops, because I think that it didn't help NXT at all when they were going head to head with AEW the last couple pay-per-views. And in this case with WrestlePalooza, I've never seen online so many positive things about AEW over WWE since they first freaking became a promotion, before the whole Brawl Out incident. AEW, I've never seen so many positive things said, because their show is so much better than WWE's WrestlePalooza. Like, the parody accounts can't even freaking come up with a reason why WWE was better than AEW that day.
Yeah.
But hopefully this doesn't happen.
Like
Tyrus here in the live
chat.
chat.
Big names and big matches, quote unquote.
WWE didn't make a serious counter programming with the PLE. These weren't the best shots against AEW. NXT used to for the head-to-head television. Thoughts? Well, that's the thing too. It even ruined Black and Gold NXT, because they were doing so good on Tuesdays. And I always say, don't fix something that's not broken. And what did they do? They broke NXT, and then they had to go from gold to rainbows. Even though they are kind of rebuilding it now with Shawn Michaels and stuff.
AEW crushed NXT,
crushed them.
and I feel like that's why Vince fucking kicked Triple H out of the fucking Booker's table, because he wasn't beating AEW in the ratings. So
kicked him out of the Boogers table. But moving on now to our next weekly news and rumors. TNA has announced that Mickie James and the Beautiful People will be getting inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame class of 2025 at Bound for Glory this year. Thoughts?
Very well deserved. I'm more familiar with the Beautiful People's work in TNA than I am Mickie James. Mickie James, I primarily know her for like WWE stuff, whatever. But I mean, it's well deserved, Obviously, it's a lot different than the WWE Hall of Fame. I feel like the TNA doesn't have that much prestige to it, maybe because it's brand new. But I mean, bro, like, to be one of the first people in the Hall of Fame, I mean, that's got to speak for something. That speaks for your character, your fucking, what you did for the promotion, as far as like, just being a team leader. I've heard nothing but good things about Mickie James and her role in TNA, and her being a locker room leader for the women, and so I well deserved, man. Shout out to Mickie James.
She was one of the bigger signings too in TNA around the time when she left WWE back in 2010.
I was gonna say, because like Danny pointed out, I was more familiar with Mickie James and her WWE career, like besides the TNA, and it's crazy how she's not in WWE Hall of Fame yet, but her first Hall of Fame would be in TNA. So that's just interesting. And I'm not really familiar with Beautiful People at all, although they do look beautiful. So
it's time. Like now that we're getting her in the TNA Hall of Fame, time to get her in the WWE one.
Maybe she'll be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
There's so many people that deserve to be in the WWE Hall of Fame that are not in there yet. You know what I mean? So I feel bad for them, because you got to kind of pick and choose. You know what I mean?
That is true. But honestly, I'm really happy with this class so far. I don't know if they are going to announce more people because I know we are getting close to Bound for Glory, but honestly, the beautiful people deserve it. Homegrown stars in the TNA Knockouts division.
I'll right back, y'all.
Yep. You're good. And as I was saying, with the beautiful people, well deserved. And I think that I know he didn't even mute his freaking microphone. That's why he's the bottom bitch. But with the beautiful people getting inducted, homegrown TNA stars, got over with their gimmick. They deserve this. And Mickie James being like the head of the class also deserves this because she put the Knockouts on the map because she did have those years in WWE.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yep. All right. Well, moving on now to our last. I might as well keep this man muted. Do you think so? You think I should keep him muted?
Yeah, why not?
There you go. I unmuted you. When you say be right back, mute yourself, motherfucker. All right.
And Danny's defense, you did the same thing, Donnie, in the WrestlePalooza watch along.
A watch along is different than a podcast. A podcast is supposed to be.
Hey man, when my kid knocks at the door, I gotta answer. Gotta do what I gotta do.
Stay on YouTube. Just saying.
Daddy duties. I respect that. All right. Well, our last We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors topic, and this just came out today before going live. According to Body Slam Net, there's been lots of talks internally recently regarding a Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar match taking place in the future, with one source noting that it very well could end up being at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. Thoughts?
That should be anything other than a regular match. That should be a street fight. That should be a cage match. That should be first blood, whatever. That is a definite WrestleMania match.
Take my money.
That kind of goes back to what I was saying, man. In some weird way.
Breaker better fuck Lesnar up.
Bro, I was talking about this, and I think I even talked to Donnie about this the night after WrestlePalooza because he was going off on, the John Cena match or whatever. Like having Lesnar and Cena in War Games, potentially. I do think that's where we're going with this. But also, we saw the interaction with Heyman and Lesnar. What if Lesnar ends up, I don't necessarily know if he ends up joining, but doing something with Division, which, that can last a little bit. And then eventually having Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed turn on Rollins and having Brock Lesnar lead a faction for the very first time. Could you imagine a faction between Brock Lesnar as the leader, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman?
I think that would be too much too quick. They took time to build this vision with Seth Rollins as champion. We
don't need a part-timer in there.
They need to get Braun Rollins as champions first before they do anything.
Yeah, but it could also lead to Braun Breaker not feeling it and, turning his back on Lesnar or whatever, leading to a match at WrestleMania.
Right. But I feel like this could lead to a great Survivor Series match, like War Games with Lesnar joining the Vision and then Cena building his team with like maybe Cody Rhodes and Punk and all of them, like their former enemies and now, co-workers.
I don't know if I would want to put Lesnar in a War Games match. You kidding me? He'll kill somebody in there.
That's the point. People would tune in. You just said take my money for the Vegas match.
Yeah, John Cena might be retiring in San Diego. If he goes in a cage with Brock Lesnar, remind you 2 rings.
I'm just saying, like, that is a great idea.
That's like putting 100 humans versus 1 gorilla in there.
That's doing too much too quickly, though. They need time to build that up. Granted, they have maybe a little less than 2 months to build that up. But
hey, you could always have.
Guys, I have an announcement to make real quick.
Yeah.
We're about to counter program AEW Dynamite.
Oh shit! Yeah, you got to do a watch along, right? Of course.
I'm not doing a watch along, but I'm gonna keep an eye on the show.
All right.
Okay.
Word. Okay. Well, here's the thing that I will say, just overall about Breaker versus Lesnar. Take my money. I don't care how they build this up, as long as Braun Breaker looks strong at the end of it and beats Lesnar. That's all I care about, because I think Braun Breaker, I've said it for the longest time ever, the man could literally be the next Roman Reigns, the next John Cena, the next Hulk Hogan. Like, he could be that next guy carrying the WWE flag for the next 10 years. And I think that Braun Breaker freaking annihilating Lesnar, hitting him with those spears.
Yeah.
My God, dude, it could really take Breaker to the next level.
I've got 3 things for that. But anyways, I have 3 things. One, if that's going to be a match, there needs to be some sort of title involved, and there needs to be something that's other than a regular match, like I was saying, like cage match, some stipulation.
Ooh, maybe a cage.
And the third
I got that wrestling
one
background.
I forgot the third one. I'll come back to it. But
all I know is I want Breaker to kill Lesnar.
Yeah, there needs to be more than just him versus him.
Agree. I think it gets built up at the Royal Rumble or something where like one eliminates the other and then they get mad and then they go back in the ring, throw the other person out. Maybe that's how they do it, or something at Chamber. Who knows? But moving on now to our next segment we have here, and that is the Getting Put Over segment. Every week we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment. We pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler and we put them over. We talk about the defining moments, the accolades, the rivalries, the segments, and our biggest what-ifs. It's time to put a new wrestler over in the We Are Wrestling Getting Put Over segment. It's that time. It is time to put somebody over, and we got a brand new graphic here that's not even in the intro here. Now that Danny Huckins is back, look at that. We got 4 beautiful statues of all of us here looking handsome as ever. And last week, we ended up putting over Mr. Perfect. Luckily, we're not putting him over this week because it would probably make this episode 4 hours long with all those accolades that he's had. But this week, we actually let the We Are Wrestling Maniacs decide in our community tab on who we put over. And they decided that this week, we're putting over Chavo Guerrero. Ooh, Chavo. And here we go. We always like to start this off with the accolades. And if this is your first time a part of the We Are Wrestling Getting Put Over segment, we ask you guys favorite title run, favorite match, favorite segment, favorite year, favorite rivalry, and a what if scenario. But now it is time to go over the accolades with Chavo, and he's had some pretty good accolades throughout his career. He is a 1-time WCW Tag Team Champion, also a 2-time WCW Cruiserweight Champ, a 2-time WWE Tag Team Champion with Eddie Guerrero. He also won the 2002 Wrestling Observer Newsletter Tag Team of the Year with Eddie Guerrero, Los Guerreros. Also in 2004, his highest ranking in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500. Just Kill the Spider live, the We Are Wrestling podcast. Ranked number 17 in the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500. Also a 4-time WWE Cruiserweight Champion, a 1-time ECW World Champ, 2-time TNA Tag Team Champion with Hernandez, who was one half of LAX back in the day. Also in 2013, he got the pink slip in the Feast or Fired match. Really cool concept there. While Ethan Carter III got the World Championship case. And he is a 1-time Lucha Underground Gifts of the God champion. So now let's get into our favorite title run. And it's going to start off with you, Dan Eddy. What do you got?
I went with the Cruiserweight Championship that he won in 2004. He defeated Rey Mysterio to get that title. And at No Way Out 2004. And I think it was just kind of interesting for him to lose the title to Jacqueline. I just found that kind of interesting. And he did face a lot of people that I recognize looking back, like Rey Mysterio. He fought in the Cruiserweight Open just for that one. He fought Billy Kidman, Funaki, Jimmy Noble, like all these guys I completely forgot about. So it's just kind of nice going back and remembering these great matches that he had.
Surprisingly, Omar, he never did win the Hardcore Championship from doing the research and what I read and what I watched. But
Cool.
Danny Huckins is not here. I don't know where he went. I think his computer must have crashed or something. But for his favorite title match, he had his favorite title run was Los Guerreros with the tag team championships in 2003. My match, my favorite title run was the ECW World Championship. It was a short run, but around this time, it was kind of cool to see Chavo Guerrero be considered a somewhat
it was 68 days. It was 68 days total.
And it was his first world championship too, which I felt like was kind of long overdue.
He did face CM Punk a lot too.
He did. All right, getting into our favorite match.
My favorite match was No Way Out 2004, the cruiserweight title he had against Rey Mysterio. Rewatching it had some great spots in it. My favorite alternative was him versus Rey Mysterio in that I Quit match. That was, I believe, a different match.
2007.
I'm brain farting. Yeah, that was much later on. Yeah, so that was my next alternative. But anything he did with Rey Mysterio was just fantastic.
And I got some update real quick on Danny here. He said Abigail accidentally unplugged my PC.
Oh, no.
Booting it backed up now.
That's why you're bottom, bitch. First day back on the job. Come on.
Yeah, I think next month he's gonna have to get the punishment. You're lucky that we haven't even reached $100 goal for your punishment.
No, I'm kind of upset too. Yeah, I know.
All right, well, Danny's favorite match. He actually didn't give me an answer, so I assumed his favorite match was Hornswoggle versus Chavo Guerrero. He just really enjoyed this match, watching Hornswoggle watch Chavo.
I want those shoes. I want those shoes that Hornswoggle has.
I know, those are fire.
Yeah.
And for me, I had to go with the I Quit match with Chavo versus Rey. Just really enjoyed this one. And for the first time, really took Chavo very, very serious in this one.
Yeah, I forgot Rey Mysterio lost.
I think Rey was getting written off at this time because he was getting knee surgery, I think. And then that's what led to his SummerSlam return, and he beat Chavo. So I think this was the end of 2006. But now getting into our favorite segment.
So I think you can guess sort of trend here going on. My favorite segment was, I believe it was August 10th, 2007. I don't know, a YouTube video said it, had the title. SmackDown episode that Chavo came out dressed up as Rey Mysterio and, did the whole in-ring, what's it called? Mannerisms that Rey Mysterio did.
Showboating.
Showboating, yeah, went to each, turnbuckle. And then he just kind of came dressed up like Rey Mysterio, and it was kind of funny, actually kind of hilarious watching it back, his imitation of Rey Mysterio. Even his voice, he was trying to get that high-pitched voice that Rey has, even though Chavo was way down here.
Chavo was always good at doing that. He was always good at just being an asshole, which is what made him such a good heel. And
honestly, I couldn't remember a lot of segments with Chavo, and I couldn't find a lot of them, to be honest. So, I did find this one, and I did remember this one watching it back then. So this was probably one of my favorites too.
Yep. And Danny's here was the Los Guerreros, the lie, cheat, steal vignettes that they were doing to build their tag team up, where they steal stuff. And I wish Danny was here to kind of explain that. When he comes back, we'll go back to this year for him. But
he did comment.
He did comment, but right now we're not putting over Hangman Adam Page or Lee Moriarty. We're putting over Chavo Guerrero. Ooh, Chavo. And I had to go with Kerwin White. That was those segments, building up the Kerwin White character with, at the time, Dolph Ziggler was his first time on WWE, was his caddy.
That's Dolph Ziggler?
Nemeth. Yes, sir.
Holy shit. That is Dolph Ziggler. What the fuck? That is... I didn't recognize him. That is crazy. He looks just like a preppy rich-ass white kid on a golf course from his daddy.
Yeah, and then after that, he was part of the Spirit Squad back in the day, the male cheerleaders. But this is where he got his first. This was his first time on WWE television. It was with Chavo as Kerwin White, and man, I just love the Kerwin White character. I would have if he did more with Kerwin White, I would have put him over by itself, because I just loved these characters in the Ruthless Aggression era. Like there was just so many like unique ones. And it's one of those eras that are just so underrated in my opinion. But getting into our favorite year.
Favorite year, I went 2003 to 2004. So growing up, I wasn't the hugest fan of Chavo Guerrero. In any case, I was more of an Eddie Guerrero fan. But
I
looking
think
back
everybody
on
was.
Chavo's achievements and stuff, he did have multiple title reigns and memorable moments in that kind of time frame. So I couldn't just pick a certain year because, like I said, like one memory didn't stick to my head. Like the Hurricane, Shane Helms. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. That as soon as we chose him, I was like, oh, okay, that segment this year. Same thing didn't happen with Chavo. So I just went with that kind of time frame because between 2002 and 2007, you could pretty much pick like which title he held because he held a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. And Danny, he also went with 2003, 2004 as well because he was a huge fan of the Los Guerreros. Yep. Me, on the other hand, I wanted to change my answer up here a little bit, and I had to go with his ECW run there in like 2007, 2008. Like I enjoyed like this more serious side of Chavo. For selfish reasons, I did want to say 2005 because of Kerwin White, but I felt like he didn't really do enough with that character, which we'll get into in just a moment. But getting into our favorite rivalry of Chavo's.
Favorite rivalry. So if you notice the trend, Rey Mysterio. Obviously, there were great matches that they had together, and it was worth mentioning Chris Benoit when he had segments with when he was around Vicky Guerrero, and then Chris Benoit was starting to get involved. So I went with Rey Mysterio. There was a lot of them to choose from, but I feel like Rey Mysterio was the one that stuck in my head. You could probably argue Matt Hardy too.
Matt Hardy was a good one.
Match or two, yeah.
Yeah, so Danny couldn't think of a rivalry at all with Chavo Guerrero, so this is just me assuming again. His favorite rivalry was against Kane because he loved that he squashed him at WrestleMania 24 in 17 seconds. And now getting into my favorite rivalry of Chavo's, Rey Mysterio. Like, this always reminded me of the Owen and Bret Hart rivalry because of the jealousy. And when Eddie Guerrero passed away, Rey Mysterio ended up winning the Royal Rumble, becoming a world champion. And Chavo Guerrero didn't really get the same accomplishments that Rey Mysterio got. And it made him jealous. It made him envy of Rey. So he hated him, despised him. And that's kind of what happened with Owen Hart. He got jealous of his brother Bret back in the 90s. So I really like it really reminded me of like that rivalry just reminded me of that. Especially getting Vicky Guerrero involved, having her turn on Rey and becoming a heel, being with Chavo. Like I think Rey Mysterio really brought out the best in Chavo. They had such good storytelling, such good matches. There's nobody that had a better feud than Rey. Maybe you could say Eddie Guerrero, but Rey Mysterio,
they had a few matches between Chavo and Eddie.
Good. And they like feuded like for years, like on and off in the WWE.
That's why I kind of decided on that one because it was one of the longest lasting ones that he had. Like I was saying, you can argue Matt Hardy or Chris Benoit like for a few segments here and there, maybe a few months. But it just seems like he was feuding with Rey Mysterio for like 10 years.
Yeah. And also, holo cards here. We need a Chavo Elite. Absolutely. Man, like the Chavo figure that's like sought after that came out in like 2010, like goes like for like $150, $200 in the second market now. And he did just sign a Legends deal with WWE. So I am hoping we do get some figures there moving forward, which good plug. You can go subscribe to Best One Donnie if you're into wrestling figures.
Hey, plug.
Hey, moving on to our what if scenario.
So I want to preface this saying that I know they're not actually brothers. Chavo is actually, Eddie's uncle technically. I think there's like a 3-year age difference, but Chavo was saying that in an interview at one point. I went with what if Eddie Guerrero was still around and they continued the Los Guerreros tag team. At this point, like in time, they can be possibly in discussion with like the best brother tag team duo in WWE history. like up there with the Hardy Boys. I feel like there's one other one that I can't think of right now.
Douglas, Edge and Christian.
Yeah, you could think of them as one of the best tag teams, like the Usos. I knew there was one obvious one.
There you go.
Like the Usos, the Hardy Boys, the ones that you were mentioning. So, like, if Eddie was still around and they were still doing that tag team duo, imagine the matches that they had, the feuds that they can have, to this point in time where they can maybe have a match or two with the Hardys or, possibly the Usos. I feel like that would have been a great match because you think of the Usos, how they handle their tag team matches, and then, the Los Guerreros, they lie, cheat, and steal.
Well, if you do think about it too, like another thing to point out too, Los Guerreros, like Eddie and Chavo have been family for their whole lives. But in WWE with the Los Guerreros, they were only a team from 2002 to like the end of 2003.
Yeah. So I feel like they could have done more with that. I mean, granted, it's nitpicking at this point, nickels and dimes. So there's just kind of a what if thing
that is true.
If Eddie was still around.
They both were successful too, even single
Yeah.
wrestlers. But yeah, it would have been really cool to see like what they could have done being a team a little bit longer. So Daddy's still not here, and he's still probably booting up his old PC. So with his what if scenario, which when he said this to me, I was very intrigued, and it got me thinking because Daddy likes to ask us a lot of questions here, which is why we're 3 hours in to this week's episode of the podcast. Good thing it is episode 175, so get a little bit of a reason to go overtime. But his what if scenario was, what if the roles were reversed and Chavo Guerrero had the booking that Eddie Guerrero had? So Chavo would have won the WWE Championship. He would have been the face of SmackDown, while Eddie Guerrero was Cruiserweight Champion and pretty much doing mid-card stuff. Which I thought this was a pretty unique scenario.
You could probably, think of that. Like if he had if it was like him that had the same charisma that Eddie actually had.
The aura, yeah.
And the aura, yeah. And then the cars and all that, the women, all that stuff.
Yeah, because that's the thing.
Something to chew on.
That's the thing too. Like Chavo, like he was just as a good worker as Eddie Guerrero. Just the only thing that was missing was the aura. Eddie, there's nobody like him. And that's why like he became champion. He was larger than life because he had that charisma to him. Chavo had charisma, but not to Eddie's main event level. And that's okay.
Yeah. Real quick to Angelo's comment, is Chavo involved with the backstage stuff in AA? He is considered as a producer for AAA. Yep,
which I think is a perfect role for him. And probably why a lot of the matches that they've been producing under his WWE flag have been pretty good. Because Chavo also does he was doing a lot of Hollywood work, like with like actors and like fight scenes and stuff. And he was getting a really good reputation doing that. But getting into my what if scenario, I had to go with Kerwin White. What if this character actually was able to continue in WWE? Because obviously, with the tragic death of Eddie Guerrero, they immediately scrapped the Kerwin White character for obvious reasons, and he went back to being Chavo Guerrero. But like the Kerwin White character was so good, and I felt like this could have led to a possible Intercontinental Championship run with him. I thought that this could lead to just something in the mid-card division, whether it was a U.S. or Intercontinental belt. And I thought that maybe they can go somewhere. Maybe him and Nick, his caddy, they could have won tag titles or something. I don't know.
Was Nick Dolph Ziggler?
That is Dolph Ziggler, yes.
Crazy to think about. You know what this character reminds me of?
Yeah.
If you took the mushroom in the Mario game, like the power up, and Hornswoggle, it's like the grown up version of Hornswoggle. It makes him grow, and it looks completely like him. You take away the green Irish gear, looks exactly like Hornswoggle, just grown up version. It's like Rugrats all grown up.
Dude, that was good. That was a good spinoff show. I enjoyed All Grown Up. So good. I could talk Nickelodeon all day. And
Yeah,
I
me
might as well
too.
change this graphic because I don't think Danny's getting that computer back up. Which, hey, that'll help us with time.
It's his choice, though. Did you want to announce it, or should I? For the next.
Honestly, I'll let you announce it for Danny since I won't be here next week.
Okay. Well, I think he was pretty set on this person before we started going live. So next week we will be putting over.
Hey, wait, he's back. He's back. He's back. He's back. Don't say anything. He's back. He's back. He wants to say it. He didn't want to be in this segment. That's why he's showing up here at the end. Bastard.
I think I already said it, but go ahead, bud.
Who are we putting over next week, Danny?
Jeff Hardy, man.
All right. Well, next week, guys, we are putting over Jeff Hardy. You want to lower your mic a little bit, Danny? You got on pretty loud.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for next week's Getting Put Over segment, unfortunately, I'm not going to be here to put over Jeff Hardy, but Rage Circus, Dan Eddy, and Danny Huckins are going to be putting over Jeff Hardy.
DDR.
All right. Well, now with that being said, let's get into our
Revolution.
main event topic. And man, what an episode this has been. 175. What a huge milestone for the We Are Wrestling podcast. I think it gives us a reason to go overtime. And I also want to just put a disclaimer. Bear with us here because this is our first time, us three together, doing a wrestling podcast. Next week, it's going to be the first time ever with Dan Eddy, Rage, and Danny. And then it's just going to be the first time for a lot of things. So it is going to take a little bit of time to adjust and figure out like timing and everything. But this week, because of the two PLEs and pay-per-views going head to head, it was a pretty damn long episode. So I think Rage is probably happy that he took this week.
I was going to say, he probably knew this was coming too.
Oh, yeah.
Asshole.
Yep. He finessed us. But our main event, we're going to be talking about the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 35th Annual PWI 500. And we're going to talk about the top 10 that were listed in this year's Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine, which I believe does come out to the public in October or November at some point. And that's the thing about the Pro Wrestling Illustrated that I do like is it just brings up discussions because there's so much talent in this business all over the world. There's guys from CMLL on this list, New Japan Pro Wrestling, the independent circuit, WWE, AEW, TNA, and it just brings up interesting discussions. And I know, Dan Eddy, you like to do the research a lot, so if you can, because I totally forgot to, can you look up the rules of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 500 while I go over this? All right. So, with the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, first thing I want to do is shed some light on some of our independent wrestlers that are in our area because We Are Wrestling. We're a proud sponsor of Blitzkrieg Pro. And a lot of the guys that have come from Blitzkrieg Pro made it onto the Pro Wrestling Illustrated list. Our buddy CPA, who is the former Bedlam champion, made it to 477. Aaron Work from Creative Pro just signed a WWE ID contract last year, and he made it to 452. Then we also got Bear Bronson, who recently just left AEW, does a lot for Blitzkrieg and GCW. He hit 430. TJ Crawford, somebody that was our first sponsored match, he wrestled VSK. He made it to 382, the Silver Sniper. Then at 260, another WWE ID prospect. He was the first signing for the men, and that is Bryce Donovan, part of Creative Pro, Shook Crew. At number 259, Charles Mason, who we've been sponsoring this past year at Blitzkrieg. He's been doing a program with Priscilla Kelly.
He looks familiar, yeah.
Priscilla Kelly and Zachary Wentz, which those full matches are up on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Our boy, Sammy Diaz, who we did a whole interview with, made it to 256. First time ever making the Pro Wrestling Illustrated list, going from not being on the list last year to 256, top 5 dead or alive. And we love Sammy here. That's our guy. So huge props to him. BRG, who just was a part of Major League Wrestling, made it to 196. He's going to be doing an interview pretty soon here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Allie Ketch made it to 96. Probably would have had a closer number to number 1 if she didn't get her injury at GCW, but we've sponsored her before. And at number 58, we got Cruel, which he is right now the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. And finally, the last person to shed light on, another WWE ID prospect who we sponsored his official ID match against Sean Legacy. Marcus Mathers made it to number 40. And man, if you guys have never heard of these independent stars, go and do your research, go to IWTV, subscribe, go on YouTube, watch these stars because they are going to make it. Trust me.
So I got the rules for you, Donnie.
All right. Might as well share them. Let's go.
So the evaluation period to determine the rankings of all these wrestlers starts on August 1st up until July 31st the following year. And they take a lot of considerations, but they mainly focus on singles wrestling, although the tag teams are acknowledged. The ranking gives priority to a wrestler's success rather than team success. And then just sort of some evaluation criteria, their win-loss record, obviously, in-ring achievement, championships won or tournaments won, influence and prominence, whether they have a good following, visibility within the promotion and across the wrestling industry, their technical ability inside the ring, competition, the minimum of 10 singles matches to be required eligible, and match frequency must have at least one singles match in 6 separate months of the evaluation period. So.
And those are the rules there. And I know you're an analytic guy, which is why I knew you were the man for the job. So,
and also they do have separate lists for women since 2008.
Yep. Women do have a separate list. I think tag teams do as well. But with the men's PWI top 500, what was the timeline from that? Because I know you mentioned it in the beginning, but I do want to mention that again.
The evaluation period for the PWI 500 runs from August 1st to July 31st of the following year.
All right. So with this list, ladies and gentlemen, that is the timeline for this list. This is not the whole year of 2025. This is going from August of last year to the end of July of this year. So that we do need to let you guys know. So here is the official listing. We're going to put it up full screen. At number 10, Will Ospreay. Number 9, CMLL Mystico. Number 8, Seth friggin' Rollins. Number 7, Swerve Strickland. Number 6, main event, Jey Uso. Number 5, Hiroki Goto. I think that's how you say his name.
Hiroki Goto, go-to.
Yep, there we go. Goto. Number 4, Hangman Adam Page. Number 3, the Ring General Gunter. Number 2, Jon Moxley. And the number 1 Pro Wrestling Illustrated top 500 wrestler in the world is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
Whoa!
Oh, and we disappeared. Where are we? There we are.
There we go.
So, how do we feel about this top 10 list? Obviously, we can't give our thoughts on Goto because we don't really watch New Japan. That'd be something Ricky knows best. Probably could give his thoughts on. But for the names that we know, how do we feel about this list?
I feel like they got a good feel of the wrestlers. Jon Moxley and Cody Rhodes can be 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, to be honest, with how Jon Moxley's been performing this last year. And Hangman Adam Page definitely deserves to be on this list as well. As far as the people who are above the other person, I feel like Jey Uso should be below Seth Rollins. But like I said, their criteria includes their following their in-stage presence. And I mean, you can't beat Jey Uso's entrance this last year. The Yeet movement has been taking over worldwide, even. Exhibit A Backlash of 2024, I feel like. So Jey Uso deserves to be on the list. Maybe not 6, possibly 5 or 4. But overall, you're just kind of nitpicking, one name switched with the other one. I don't know. I feel like Danny has a another different opinion.
Well, before Diddy, you give your thoughts on this. Angelo here says, surprised Hangman isn't top 3. Me too, because I thought that Gunter would maybe lose some credibility there, tapping out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania.
I mean, he's been gone the last 3 months of the evaluation period too, 3 to 3.5 months.
And then that's the thing too, Hangman, especially like the beginning of 2025, all the way up to AEW All In, like he's been putting on some of the best matches of his career. I feel like he should have been in the top 3 at least. I kind of agree with Angelo on that. But what's your thoughts on all of this, Daddy? I'm curious too.
No, I don't really pay too close attention to the, PW, top 500 or whatever. It's not really my thing. But it is fun to talk about, it brings up discussion. I feel like Swerve needs to be higher up on the list than he is. You know what I mean? Like Swerve's had some bangers, some good storylines this year, and like he had a hell of a comeback story as well. A lot of people could say that Jon Moxley doesn't deserve to be number 2, but I mean, regardless of how you feel about the Death Riders, I mean, he's been one of the most consistent people on television,
wrestling period.
I would agree. Yeah,
I would especially from that time period. And like that's why, like for me, like I can't really argue about Cody being number 1 because just like Jon Moxley, like he's been the most consistent. He's been carrying that WWE flag. Moxley's been carrying the AEW.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at too earlier. Like you're really just nitpicking, like maybe moving them 1 or 2 spots. Like I can say Swerve Strickland should be 5 instead of 7, and then Hiroki Goto could be 7. But I don't know much about Hiroki Goto to begin with, so I can't say much. That's why, because they take.
I should have asked Ricky.
The wrestling.
I should have asked Ricky about that with the overall thoughts before getting on here. But I don't know about Jay being number 6. Like it was cool that he won the world championship.
For you guys, is there anybody on this list that you think does not deserve to be in the top 10?
I don't think Jey Uso should be on that top 10. I know he's over.
You're just saying that for clickbait?
No, actually, it's tough because like
Jey Uso's been very consistent, and like they're not talking about like popularity wise. They're talking about consistency in the ring. And who's been more consistent than Jey Uso wrestling almost every single Monday night? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that is true.
But they also take into consideration his win-loss record.
If they Nope, Angelo yep. He has been consistent and he won the Rumble. I did forget about the Rumble. Yep. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. But I would have had Swerve over Jay.
Yeah, I would have too. But like, I mean, if this was a popularity contest, I mean, I have never met anybody that likes the Death Riders. I mean, does Jon Moxley really deserve to be number 2 on the list?
Yes, he does because he's been consistent.
I mean, if they were judging by popularity wise,
not the best.
If they were judging by popularity wise, you may not be.
Oh, Moxley would be 500.
You may not be a fan of the booking of Jey Uso. Doesn't mean he doesn't need to be on the list.
I will say what's criminal, Will Ospreay being number 10. That's bullshit.
I mean,
Will Ospreay has been consistently putting banger after banger after banger after banger. I think Ospreay should be at least in the top 5. I think.
I would have Ospreay. I would have Ospreay over Goto. I would have Ospreay over Jay, I would have maybe over Swerve. But
I'm mad. I'm actually kind of mad about MJF's ranking too, because MJF was ranked he was number 30. I saw a Creative Pro post that. CM Punk, I think, was number 15. I would have maybe had Punk at like number 10, maybe. But then again, the SummerSlam match I think was after the deadline. I think CM Punk will make the top 10 next year. If he stays healthy.
I do feel like MJF, like he's criminally underrated. So I would consider him, I do think he should have been like the top 5, whatever. But you also got to think like MJF is one of those, like, he's not wrestling every single week. You know what I mean? Like he's sort of
his
like
matches actually matter.
Yeah, he's a special attraction. You know what I mean? So,
but overall, like, the list, there's nothing that like drives me crazy. There's nothing that really pisses me off here. For once, I actually somewhat agree with.
I swear Cody was
this
number
list.
1 last year too, wasn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he was.
I think he was
Yeah, I think.
4 last year.
Yeah, I think it was back-to-back years. I think he was number 1. What about Gunter at 3? You see, I would have switched him and put Gunter at 4, and I would have had Hangman at 3.
Yeah.
Only because the all-in timeline does fit in with
So
this year and that double or nothing match too.
I think
Hangman
a
and
big
Aquaman.
factor of Cody being 1 this year was if you take just the win-loss record, Jay Uso between the beginning of last year and today, Jay won 63% of his matches out of, I think, 126 total, whereas Cody Rhodes won 96% of his matches out of 125. He won 120 out of 125 matches, Cody Rhodes did.
So
From the
they
beginning
judge
of
it by
last year until
consistency,
today.
pretty much.
With like percentages.
Consistency and win-loss record, yeah. But Jay also does have a huge following with the whole Yeet movement that started at the beginning of last year, which helped him catapult up to what was he, number 6?
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 6.
Yeah. So
and that's
that was a
why
big
Dan
factor,
Eddy's a part of the We Are Wrestling team. You see, he's pretty damn good, Danny Huckins. He's got the numbers.
Oh, we got Wikipedia. We got the Wikipedia guy with Rage. We got the fucking Stone Cold like trap memory with you, Donnie. Danny has the great hot takes. I needed something.
You already analytical guy, and I love it. Love it.
Oh, don't even get me started on football, but yeah, I am the little guy.
Yeah, don't get me started either. We're both not undefeated anymore. But anything else you guys have to say before we do close off this week's episode?
I mean,
no, not really.
Nah, it was a pretty solid, episode, man. Like, this is probably one of our longest work. Like, if we go another fucking half hour, bro, we'll be at 4 hours. We've never done a 4-hour podcast before.
I wasn't expecting to get to go 3.5, but glad to have you back, Danny.
That's how it is when I'm here, man, because we just talk. Shit's crazy.
Well, we are going to definitely figure out a way here, but this is our first time, all 3 of us.
Rage would have left fucking like an hour ago.
But no,
we're
gonna. Well, like I said earlier, like we are gonna figure it out. Like it is gonna take some time to really build that chemistry because we are gonna be rotating. So once a month, it's gonna be us 3. So it is gonna take some time. But this episode,
it was good for us to have a podcast this length or whatever because I haven't been here in a couple of months. So
and this is your first time too with Dan Eddy here.
Hey, we got a super strip. Yeah, first time with Danny's
hollow cards, man, coming in with a
hollow cards for $2.
Thank
Hell
you, hollow
yeah.
cards.
Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it a lot. But overall, it's all gonna work through time and. This week's episode was a very long one. I was even contemplating whether or not to make the PWI in an extra tomorrow, but I figured let's just do it because this is your guys' first time together. And I think we got some great content out of it. And I think the Maniacs enjoyed it because we still have a pretty good consistent number for 3.5 hours. So thank you guys for that. But a couple things before we do close off this week's episode here. If you guys haven't checked out the Monday Night Raw vlog, I went to Springfield, John Cena's farewell. That vlog is up on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. And we do have the replays for WrestlePalooza Watch Along and AEW All Out Watch Along. So if you guys haven't checked those out, you can do that right now. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this episode, this long episode on Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, please leave us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download this episode and give us a follow. If you're not following We Are Wrestling over on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, go follow us on there. We post clips, we post daily wrestling news, and just additional content. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac, you're already over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content, in my opinion, where you get live watch-alongs for all the AEW pay-per-views, WWE PLEs, you get a live episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast guaranteed every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is not going to change. Recommend you guys to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, vlogs, reactions, pro wrestling full-length matches, everything pro wrestling here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. Links down in the description box below. You can go follow all of us over on our social medias. Dan Eddy is over on Twitch. His link is down below. Danny Huckins, he is live for all the weekly television shows. That's additional content you're not getting on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel. He's live, so he loves interacting with the Danny Acts worldwide. So go follow him on his YouTube channel.
I'm
Danny
halfway
Huckins,
to
PW.
2,300 subscribers, so subscribe to my channel.
Hell yeah, and I'm halfway there for Best One Donnie channel where I do toy videos and stuff, and I'm pretty damn close to getting close to that 3,000 subscribers. So it'll really help. All the links down in the description box below. And, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, remember next week, the host with the most, I don't know who's going to be the host with the most, but I will be watching with you, We Are Wrestling Maniacs, live in the chat with Danny Huckins, Rage Circus, and Dan Eddy, because, of course, you already know we are taking over. Peace.